pregame introductions you will find anywhere in the country.
Brian, you better look out because I'm ready to hit somebody and I'm a quarterback. I mean, this gets you so amped. I got goosebumps from that.
Weber State now also taking the field, coming off a 26-7 loss to Oregon State on Friday night of last week. It was a 13-7 game early in the fourth quarter, and Weber State's defense, again, the defensive coordinator is the head coach. It's certainly where the priority is right now for that Weber State program.
Those numbers are deceptive from last year. I mean, 26-7, keep in mind it's a Pac-12 team. Oregon State got thumped today by Michigan, but that was in the big house, kind of expected. But I think that 26-7 score is misleading, much like last year's game against the Bison and Weber State when it was 24-7. A lot of people thought, hey, we walked away with that game. It was much closer than the 24-7 score indicated.
Brian Shaw, Chris Berg joining you on NBC North Dakota Sports and on ESPN3. So thanks for tuning in and joining us here this afternoon for the Bison's home opener. The national anthem coming up here in just a couple of moments, courtesy of the Gold Star Marching Band.
What's the score going to be here?
Well done there by the Gold Star Marching Band led by Sigurd Johnson. Beth Houle is joining us on the sidelines today for today's telecast, and she has a PetroServe USA Bison sideline report for us. Beth.
Hey guys, stout. That's the word that Tim Polasek used when he described the Bison, or the Weber State defense rather. To counteract that, they're going to have to do a lot of what Oregon State did last week, and that's make all 11 men on the offense accountable. They're going to have to make Weber State defend against every single guy. No problem. That's the NDSU MO. They love making that quarterback a threat and threatening with that run game in particular. Where that comes into a problem this week is, of course, Carson Wentz and his mobility after that high ankle sprain. That's exactly where a high ankle sprain will threaten a player. Coach Polasek also telling me that a big part for this game will be Easton Stick's presence. You're going to see the redshirt freshman play in this football game, especially when it comes to being on the move. That's great because Easton is an athletic guy and he's going to have a great opportunity to make an impact in this game. On the defensive side of the ball, well, Coach Ince says that they have to get back to being the calming effect and the dominating performance that Bison fans and Bison Nation, and most importantly the Bison football team, has grown accustomed to predicting and respecting and expecting from the NDSU defense. Now, a big help in that is, of course, C.J. Smith coming back today. When I asked Coach Ince if he's excited about his return, he laughed and said, no, I'm not excited. I'm relieved that C.J. Smith is back in this game. Talking to his running mate back there as well, Jordan Champion, he says he knows he should be able to play a game without C.J., but there's something about having him back there and helping him in the backfield as they take on a young defense to make an impact against Weber State. When it comes down to it, Coach Ince says they have to be able to win the first down and they have to limit their errors with so many young guys on the field. We're going to be looking at as many as 4 or 5 linebackers playing in this football game tonight, and sometimes a few more linebackers on the field than you're accustomed to seeing just because of the number of looks that Weber State is able to put on the football field. We've got a big game coming here tonight. Coach Entz is confident in his defense. Coach Kleiman is confident in the fact that this team has prepared really hard these last 2 weeks, and probably the hardest they've prepared all season so far.
Thank you very much, Beth. Believe Weber State will get the football first as the Bison deferred.
You know, Beth talks about preparation, Brian. I think you're the one that mentioned that these guys did 800 team reps over the past 2 weeks. And if you know anything about going out to practice, that is a ton of team reps to take place, obviously, during the season. So these guys are well prepared to take on the Weber State Wildcats.
Another area to watch for North Dakota State today is the offensive line. A couple of injuries suffered over the last couple of weeks. The big loss there is Zach Johnson. Big number 66, a junior, is not going to play today. So Zach Zemer, a redshirt sophomore from Lakeville, Minnesota, will make his first start. Jeremy Kelly's also been bothered by a hamstring. They're not sure how effective he will be today and how long he will be able to go today. So expect to see Tanner Volson, a redshirt freshman
And
from
I think
North Dakota.
That should have people concerned. We talked about this defense is fast. These guys can close. If you're going to ask me, they're going to put 8, 9 guys in the box, let this Josh Burton run around the field like a rover, and let him even make some checks before the snap to put some real heat on the quarterback.
Ben LeCompte getting set for a Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. The Bison kickoff brought to you by Peterson Farm Seed, as well as a product lineup that'll give you every reason to stand tall. And this one boomed deep into the end zone. Drew Batchelor does not have an opportunity to make a play, and there were some heads rolling on that play on special teams.
You can feel it today. These guys are ready to hit somebody with a different color jersey. You know, after 2 weeks of going against the same guys, it's like, look, just give me somebody else I can hit.
Weber State will start off at their own 25-yard line. Matt Entz, the defensive coordinator, telling me earlier this week
here's
that
Robbie
his team,
Grimsley.
Yeah, Robbie Grimsley starting out,
Jumping
a
right
true
out.
freshman safety. 800 team reps for North Dakota State defensively over the last 2 weeks in practice. Grimsley, a true freshman from Hutchinson, a 2014 Minnesota Mr. Football. Seeing action right away here on the first play of the game. Jadrian Clark is the quarterback for Weber. Inside handoff, taken down right away for a minimal gain. That goes to Trayshawn Garrett, a true freshman that's seeing some action. 3 carries last week against Oregon State, as we take a look at the Shield starting lineup, starting off with the NDSU defense. Nate Tanguay, a very good game against Montana. C.J. Smith back in the lineup. He did not play against Montana when Trey Dempsey and Chris Board, a pair of 2 new safeties. That's an area of concern for the defense. We'll see how they hold up today. Second and long coming up here for the Wildcats. Handoff again, a little bit more room this time. Nice job by Nick DeLuca coming
Great
up and
play,
making
Nick.
the stop on once again. It's Garrett on the carry, and we have a 3rd and 6 coming up. Weber State last week against Oregon State, 0 for 13 on 3rd down. We'll see how that goes. This is the offense. Offensive line did not get a lot of movement last week. Keep an eye on number 1 wide receiver Cameron Livingston, an all Big Sky performer a year ago, 83 career receptions. They also really like Eric Wilkes, a young running back that also played as a true freshman a year ago. Drew Batchelor was the best receiver last week for the Wildcats, 6 receptions, 51 yards against the Beavers. And it's getting loud on here. Play clock down to 2, and they're going to have to call a timeout. Late getting out of the huddle was Weber State, Chris.
And Chris Board now in the game as well. So, yeah, Weber State, you know, I watched some game film on him, Brian, earlier in the week, and you watch their offensive scheme when it comes to their passing plays. I don't know if there really is a scheme. You watch these wide receivers, I have no idea sort of where they're trying to open up holes in the defense. So you got 3rd and about 5 or 6 here. Obviously, I believe they're going to be throwing the rock. The question is, what's going to be their strategy today to try to spread out this Bison defense and find some holes?
One other little fun matchup to watch. The quarterback for Weber State, Jadrian Clark, a junior QB from Lakeland, Florida. His former high school teammate is Trey Dempsey, who was the starting safety here for North Dakota State. So those two getting a chance to square off
Sounds like
here.
they were texting throughout the week, too. And Jadrian was like, hey, Trey, what are you guys going to do to us?
There's a look at Clark. 19 of 35 for 120 yards. He was sacked 3 times. Again, Weber State has not converted a 3rd down yet this season. 5-receiver look as they shift in to 3 receivers on the high side, 2 to the bottom side of your screen.
Might be a 2-man here. Here comes
Clark across the middle,
Great
and
play.
guess who makes the play? Trey Dempsey.
He
Batting it away on 3rd down.
He read his high school teammates' eyes and said, no, not today, Jadrian.
That'll bring up a punting situation. Josh Kialamakia is the kicker and the punter. Very much like Ben LeCompte is for North Dakota State. 10 punts last week, 41-yard average. And this one hung up nice and high. Fair catch taken at the 30-yard line by Eric Perkins, the junior from Kewaskum, Wisconsin. And that's where the Bison will have it on their opening possession. Very good start for the defense, Chris, because they really struggled getting off the field on 3rd down against the Grizzlies.
And I was just going to say, great call there by Coach Entz. He just blitzed Pierre Gear-Tucker right there, the linebacker. He went 2-man, so you can see these guys. They put some pressure on him right away. That's why he had to get rid of the rock. Trey Dempsey steps in and obviously knocked it down to now put our Bison offense on the field.
Carson Wentz will start out behind center. And again, the speculation all week was swirling around whether Wentz would play after a high ankle sprain suffered against Montana back on August 29th. Motion man is Bonnet.
This is what you want to watch today.
Give inside and all
Great
sorts of room
play.
for King Fraser. And Fraser still on his feet past midfield down to the 48.
Great run by King Fraser. And right before the game, when I wanted to say, Brian, watch today because you're going to see this defense put 8 or 9 guys in the box. And here goes King Fraser. Great job by the offensive line there to open this hole up. I think even you and I could have ran through that hole, Brian, but great job by King Fraser finishing it off. Great first down.
Finally dragged down by Carson Lillenquist after a huge opening run of 23 yards. Fraser 90 yards against Montana a couple of weeks ago. Back to the running game again. Chase Morlock tiptoes his way through the hole, dives ahead to the 45, pick up a 2. Nice job defensively that time as Lillenquist stepped in again. As we take a look at the Shield starting lineups for this NDSU offense. Wentz behind center. Jedry Sear, a former walk-on from Glendon, at fullback. The receivers hopefully get free today. R.J. Urzendowski and Zach Vra hoping to make plays happen. And then, as you mentioned, Zach Ziemer, the new left guard, getting his first career start. Joe Hegg. It'll be tough to find an offensive tackle anywhere in the country as good as Joe Hegg at this level. Former walk-on himself. Give inside again. Pushing the pile forward to the 40-yard line. That was more of a read option look for North Dakota State as we look at the Weber State defense. And this starting lineup also brought to you by Shield. As you mentioned, Chris, the real guy to watch on this defense is Josh Burton, the free safety. All Big Sky performer. Had an interception for a touchdown last week. Jake Gallegos, who transferred from Utah State, getting his first opportunities as well.
Both those guys can play, and again, keep your eye on number 7 the entire game. He'll be roving around the field the entire time.
Burton also led the team with 10 tackles against Oregon State last week. Wentz, short drop, fires, caught on the slant. Perfect. Right in the breadbasket of R.J. Urzendowski, and that will move the chains up to the 32.
Great to see that early. Get his confidence up. Nice 3-step drop. Great completion to R.J. Carson thinks, okay, I'm comfortable now. Take a shot. Let's get this thing going.
And the Bison offense has been one of the best third down teams in terms of converting over the last couple of years, but just 5 of 14 against Montana. Here's a new look, 3 to the top side, and they got one-on-one coverage at the bottom for Zach Vra. Wentz fires, and this one deflected at the line of scrimmage. I think it may have been Gallegos who got his hands in the air. Also in the area was Yosua Oketa.
But again, good news there. Nice pocket there for Carson. Nobody touching him. He's going to continue to build his confidence with those short drops and having nobody around his legs.
It was Gallegos who got his hand on it. Gallegos, again, played at Utah State, sat out last year as a transfer, and the only game he played at Utah State was against Weber State in 2013. Play action again. Wentz there has an open receiver and delivers that one to Chase Morlock. Morlock down to the 27-yard line will bring up 3rd and 5.
Great call there. I think you're going to see a lot of play action today, Brian. They're going to continue to sort of ground and pound when the opportunity shows itself, obviously, due to play action. And there was a couple guys open. Vrah was open deep there as well.
Wentz dropping that one off to Chase Morlock, who caught a touchdown pass at Montana, the junior from Moorhead, Minnesota. So another third down conversion coming up. Weber State showing blitz. Play clock down to 3. Wentz quarterback run up the middle. Ankle looks fine. Inside the 10. Carson Wentz. Touchdown, North Dakota State. 27 yards.
I'd say he looks okay, Brian. I think the ankle's all right. Taking it to the house.
7 plays, 70 yards, and Carson Wentz in the quarterback run game makes some cuts inside and darts in for a touchdown. This will be the first career point after attempt for Cam Peterson, a freshman getting his red shirt pulled, and he is converted on his first extra point. So North Dakota State, a statement on their opening drive, 70 yards in just over 4 minutes. And the Bison lead at 7-0 on the Yale Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. There is a look at the family of Tyler Jangula, a fullback that played at North Dakota State for 4 years out of Williston. Unexpectedly passed away a few months ago. And he is here. They're here today to honor Tyler Jangula and his family for what he did, not only in North Dakota State program, but certainly in the community. I got a chance to know Tyler. Will certainly miss him. There's been memorial funds set up for him through the North Dakota State University Foundation. So we do want to honor and mention Tyler Jangula today. And how about this kickoff return by Drew Batchelor as a flag comes flying in at the 35-yard line. But Batchelor, a good return all the way up to the 37. But we'll see what the flag is all about.
Big hole right at the sideline, just keeps going. We'll find out what this flag is, if they're going to start here on the roughly 35-yard line or not. Brian, I want to go back to that touchdown play, because if you watch what happened there, Weber State blitzes a couple linebackers. And then you see Carson Wentz, we've been talking about all week, the bum ankle, and basically goes 27 yards untouched.
During the return, illegal block below the waist. Number 38 on the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Weber State.
So Chandler Tunney, the guilty party on the block below the waist, and that will really back up Weber State all the way to the 13. Take a look at the run here, Chris, end zone.
So they bring the linebackers. Here goes Carson, basically untouched. And the reason this is such a big play this early in the game, because now you've got the defensive coordinator going, wait a second, I thought the kid was hurt. He looks fine to me. We may have to make some changes in our strategy here.
Beth Houle on the sidelines as a PetroServe USA Bison sideline report. Beth.
Yeah, guys, listening to the Weber State players on the sideline, 2 of the players looked at each other right in front of me and said, so much for that hurt ankle, with a chuckle. The other one said, yeah, I wasn't planning on that being a factor. Of course, Bison fans excited to see it as well. Weber State maybe not quite so excited.
Thank you, Beth. And yeah, that just gives the defense now another element they have to worry about, as Brian Schatz came in and absolutely obliterated quarterback Jadrian Clark to set up 2nd and 13. 5 receivers once again in the set here for the Wildcats. And that one's going to be whistled dead. I'm not sure if it was a false start or if he was drawn off. We'll see what it's all about. Weber State backing up like it is a false start, as Greg Menard was trying to get off the edge.
Clear the snap. False start. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
So a false start on Weber State, and boy, things have gone from bad to worse. Now backs up to their own 5-yard line. 2nd and 18 coming up.
D-line, pin your ears back and get after Jadrian right here.
Quick drop, fires in the flat, caught. Taken down immediately on the play after the catch is Tui Satuala. Backup tight end. A couple of Bison on the stop, including Nick DeLuca and Trey Dempsey. DeLuca, great game against Montana, Chris.
He was
12 tackles.
all over the field.
Dempsey, another young man that's hoping he has something to prove. Let a couple of 50-50 balls go the other way against the Grizz a couple of weeks ago.
Another third down here, Brian, third and long. We'll see if they can actually convert.
In the flat, toss.
It doesn't look like it.
Satuala trying to keep the legs moving, but the Bison swarm him at the 15-yard line, and that will bring up another punting situation as MJ Stumps got in there to make the stop. The junior from Harvey getting his first opportunity now to play as a full-time starter after backing up Travis Beck for the last couple of years.
This punt, you presume, going to give the Bison offense great field position to start off their second drive.
Eric Perkins back again, rugby-style punt. This is a low liner that will bounce at about the 45 and will go out of bounds around the 42-yard line, and that's where the Bison will have it. And today's game brought to you in high definition by Parents Lead, providing tips and tools for conversations that matter. Bison offense back on the field for their second drive. We'll line up in an I formation here on 1st and 10. Stretch play to the high side. King Frazier has room. Nice backside pursuit by Weber State after a 3-yard gain. Taken down to the play by Jonathan Carlson. And Alfava also in on the play. And you know, he's an interesting story as well. The young man that is a backup, Jared Alfava, transferred from Nebraska. Actually started 2 games for the Huskers in 2013. Did not play football at all last year. Came to Weber State, now getting an opportunity.
And he was sticking his nose in the pile last week against Oregon State. The kid's not afraid of contact.
Dimitri Williams in motion. And he will not get the handoff. All sorts of room, and this time wrapped up. But another nice run up the middle as the quarterback run game really working.
You know, Brian, you and I talked about this before the game. A lot of people were talking to me last week. Why are we running Carson Wentz so much? When you got a 6'6" quarterback that get into the secondary like that, guys are, you know, 5'11", 6 foot, $180. I love the idea of someone 6'6", 230, putting their head down and getting obviously automatic first downs, it seems like.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay as Trayvon Johnson, junior from Salt Lake City, made the tackle there for Weber State. Connor Wentz, the motion man. Give inside. Goes to Lance Dunn, the redshirt freshman from Waterloo, same hometown as both the head coach Chris Kleiman and defensive coordinator Matt Entz. So that worked out very well in terms of recruiting a young man from Waterloo.
Probably a little bit easier when you just sit down at a young man's dinner table with a few national chat title rings and say, well, son, where would you like to play?
Was recruited certainly by Northern Iowa, among others, in the Missouri Valley. Bison will come out here on 2nd and 7 in a 4-receiver set. Weber State again showing pressure. Quick drop, caught. Boy, nice job hauling that one in. And right around the 35-yard line by Darius Shepard, another redshirt freshman from Blue Springs, Missouri.
And really happy to see the offensive line. They brought, again, 2 backers there trying to put some pressure on Wentz. They stuck it. He sat back there, had a chance to throw the ball, basically untouched.
And Shepard has pretty good genes as well. His father played football at Missouri. His grandfather was a standout at Missouri State, actually played for the Los Angeles Lakers for a while.
Wow.
So we got some stories to tell on that front. Inside handoff goes to Frazier, keeps his feet, and King Frazier keeps chugging ahead all the way up to the 27-yard line. Another Bison first down, and the ground game really paying off here in the early going.
I am loving what Coach Polasek is doing at this point, Brian. I mean, running the ball, you knew that, hey, we need to get back to the ground and pound, Bison football. And even when you see the 3 yards, you think, oh boy, I really want to see him break it. I think the 3 yards in a cloud of dust today is a good sign, especially with them putting 8 guys in the box. They've been doing most of the first half or first quarter.
Missed tackle there in the backfield by Vince Coleman, who's actually a transfer from Youngstown State, played the Bison in 2013. Wentz Quick drop again, fires right on the money to Zach Brock, close to another first down, and he's got it down to the 16-yard line. This Bison offense looks very crisp, Chris, on these first couple of drives.
They look fantastic, and Taron Johnson out there playing DB on Brock, giving him way too much space.
And NDSU in the Superior Inc. red zone for the first time today. Bison getting in and out of the huddle very quickly. Right back to work. Inside goes to Frazier. He finds more room. Flag comes in as he is taken down, and the ball is still alive. Taken by Weber State and wrestled down at the 25-yard line by Darius Shepard. And there's all sorts of confusion on the field right now as the ball was picked up by Mitch Tulane, the strong safety, and returned out by Weber State.
Looks like a holding call from where the flag came from, but you never know. This thing may or may not be back in the Bison offensive hands.
Did not see the ball come out of the scrum there, but Tulane picked it up. And sure enough, it was out. As Frazier coughs it up. Good job by Shepard, hustling down to take care of it.
Holding. Offense number 54. That penalty be declined. The result of the play was a fumble recovered by Weber State. First down.
Boy.
So the Bison knocking on the door for a 14-0 lead, and Frazier stripped in the middle of the scrum here, and it looked like it was Lillenquist that came in. There was another, Bert, I tell you what, it was just taken right out of his hands by Mitch Tulane, who came in there and just took it away. So good job defensively by Weber State to make a stand there.
And Weber State needed a break. As you said, the offense looks like it's hitting on all cylinders right now for NDSU.
So Clark will bring the offense back out here. Inside handoff. And that is the first carry of the day by Eric Wilkes. 5'7", 200-pounder. Played as a true freshman. Had 7 carries for 37 yards last week against Oregon State. And Grimsley will come on here on 2nd and 2 as Chris Board will head to the sidelines. Play action this time. Clark, plenty of time, firing deep. He's got a wide open Cameron Livingston. Beat the true freshman, and he takes it in. 68 yards for a touchdown. What an answer for Weber State after taking over from the turnover. Cameron Livingston, the all Big Sky selection, beat the true freshman Grimsley and goes 68 yards for the touchdown.
Jadrian puts the ball right on the money there. Livingston just turns on the jets, outruns Grimsley, and takes it to the house. Great play call by Weber State off of a turnover. You typically see that. Coach is going to go for it.
Keala adds the extra point, and boy, what a change in momentum. Weber State was looking like they were going to be down 14-0. Instead, they tie it up at 7 apiece on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Back with more from the Fargo Dome after this. Back at the Fargo Dome, Gate City Bank Field. Proud to bring it to you, KVLY and NBC North Dakota Sports Network. Bring you Bison football here today, our first of many broadcasts we'll have for you. Brian Shaw and Chris Bird, as Weber State ties it up. 2 plays, 76 yards in just 44 seconds, Chris. And boy, that has really kind of taken the air out of the crowd a little bit here at the Fargo Dome.
What a turn of events. You watch them just driving down the field. The Bison offense, they're like, hey, these guys are unstoppable. King Frazier fighting for a couple extra yards. As you mentioned, the strong safety Tulane comes in, just snatches the ball right from him. You and I both like, wait a second, what just happened? Next thing you know, Weber State's got the football, and nice throw, by the way, from Jadrian Clark to Livingston.
And he had time, Chris. Good job by the offensive line protecting the quarterback. Keala on for the Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kickoff the playing season with Peterson Farm Seed. And Keala, nice kick deep into the end zone. And taking a knee is Dimitri Williams, a true freshman from Rosemont, Minnesota. We'll be back with more action from the Fargo Dome coming up after this. Back at the Fargo Dome, and now time for the New Seed Fan Cam. You can never go wrong taking a selfie in the Bison.
I think you and I were doing that earlier, weren't we?
Little guy hoping things get rolling here for the offense. After Weber State in the blink of an eye have tied things up at 7 apiece. Another big run up the middle. Chase Morlock picks up 9 yards all the way to the 34. And you notice King Frazier not in the game. He's not even on the sideline. He was holding his wrist. He is in the locker room as they're taking a look at what the issue might be there. So now it's going to be Morlock, Dunn, and maybe Bruce Anderson, the true freshman, that see some carries here today.
Bruce got a couple carries last week, or excuse me, a couple weeks ago against Montana. They're really, really high on Bruce Anderson. I think we'll probably see him a few times today.
Power running was not a huge success for North Dakota State against Montana. Today it has been money, Chris.
Well, I think these O-linemen, after watching their performance against Montana, said, okay, watch this, Weber State.
Power again, and Morlock keeps his feet. Tough running as he follows his blockers, plows ahead all the way up to the 43. Good enough for a first down. Tulane in on the stop again.
Again, what was that, a good 5-6 yard run, right? Power eye. 5-6 yards a crack and a cloud of dust. Everyone's happy with that.
Nodag Mutual Insurance replay. Wentz gives inside, and that is Bruce Anderson. I believe that got the carry. That's the true freshman. Oh no, Frazier's back in the game. So King appears to be fine, and Beth Houle, I believe, has more information on that on the sideline, Beth.
Just running back out on the field with Dr. Pyatt coming out, has fresh tape on his left wrist. Doesn't appear to have any extra additional help on it. No splint, nothing like that. Just a little bit of extra tape, a little bit of extra support on that.
All right, thank you, Beth. And that was Bruce Anderson on the carry. Number 42 was buried in a pile there, picked up a couple of yards. Wentz swings it out to Dunn. Dunn cuts it back up. Nice backside pursuit again by Weber State. Tracking him down was the big man, number 99, Felipe Sitake.
He can move for a big man down there.
And Sitake, a freshman, but joined the program just this last spring, was actually on a mission trip to Tonga. And a lot of these players, over half of them, have been on mission trips to other places throughout the world and throughout the country. The school Weber State founded by the Latter-day Saints.
Here they come.
Weber showing heavy pressure up the middle. Pressure comes, Wentz gets rid of it, and incomplete was Dimitri Williams. He was trying to break free, and Wentz had to make that read a little bit faster than he wanted to.
But I think those are the things that you and I have been talking about in pregame, Brian, is watch what they're going to do. You've got a couple new offensive linemen playing there. Are they going to go after those gaps and try to put some pressure on Wentz? It's obviously happened there.
So the Bison stopped for the first time on third down today, and Ben LeCompte will boot this one away. Low spiral, bounces, and stayed in bounds, I think, and then finally went out at like the 3-yard line. So somehow Ben LeCompte is able to scoop that ball on the sideline and bounce it all the way to the 5.
That was a big-time punt. I don't know if we'll be able to see it here on replay, and he had some pressure on him there to get that kind of kickoff. And yes, he got a nice roll, but even to get that kind of kickoff, great kick by Ben.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay as we take a look, and this ball just looked like it was going to go out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. The returner, Darrell Denby, didn't want to touch it because he thought it was going out. And a Bison roll, to say the least, there on the Fargo Dome turf. So the Weber State offense back out there. Inside handoff. A little bit of room to roam. A couple of yards for Eric Wilkes. Trey Dempsey again coming in and making another tackle. He's been very active, Trey Dempsey, so far here today. Look at the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
Good play there. Give yourself a few yards, some space now for Dadrian Clark. Probably looking to potentially throw the rock here a little bit. 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7.
Saduala was the man in motion. Clark's got time, surveys, fires again, and an open receiver is once again Cameron Livingston. And that will move the chains all the way up to the 28.
He's honorable mention Big Sky last year. Here's a guy you got to put some pressure on up at the line of scrimmage. It looks like TJ Smith's giving him a free release and obviously giving him some space, and he's been open now twice in a row.
So Livingston already having a really big day. Almost 100 yards receiving off the 2 catches. 5 receivers. Empty backfield for Weber here, as I believe time is going to run out in the first quarter before they get the play off. And that will do it for the first quarter. North Dakota State a strong start. Weber State gets the turnover and has tied things up. We're tied at 7 as we head to the second quarter from the Fargo Dome. So Weber State, 1st and 10 from their own 28 after another big pass play to Cameron Livingston, the junior from Ocala, Florida. Inside handoff this time, bouncing outside and room to roam is Eric Wilkes. Another first down up to the 39-yard line.
I like where that Wilkes hits the hole. He runs north and south, dances a little bit east and west, but not much.
Here's your Bobcat game recap. Weber State 110 total yards, 68 of them on that long touchdown pass play, and the turnover really hurt North Dakota State.
Big time. We were just talking about this, Brian. Cameron Livingston, if you watch, when he's out there, CJ Smith has been on him most of the game, but you've got to get up in his face and put some hands on him before he gets off the line of scrimmage.
Motion man is Drew Batchelor. Play action. Clark fires. Batchelor over his head, incomplete. Jordan Champion on the coverage for North Dakota State will bring up second down.
Great coverage there by Jordan Champion. He was all over him.
See if the Bison maybe pay a little more attention here to Livingston now, Chris, after he's made a couple big plays.
I just watched the last play there, and as I mentioned, you got to get in his face, and sure enough, CJ Smith was up on him this time rather than giving him a free release. So continue to watch that, and they, in my opinion, need to be doing that.
Shotgun again, single back. Inside handoff goes to Wilkes, and he darts ahead, taken down by a couple of Bison, including Nick DeLuca. After a gain of 3, will bring up third down. Time now for our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. Today's question: how many gallons of soy diesel can be produced from 1 acre of soybeans? We will have the answer to that trivia question from the North Dakota Soybean Council coming up here in just a little bit. 3rd and 7 for Weber State. They are still 0 for the season on 3rd down through 5 quarters. Clark, quick drop, fires, and some miscommunication there as Livingston broke the different way from where the football was thrown, and that will bring up a 4th down punting situation for Weber State.
It's amazing. They're still 0 for the season on 3rd down, and yet the score, which matters most, 7-7 here at the Fargo Dome.
Eric Perkins back once again at his own 20 to take the punt from Keala-Makia. And this one off the side of his foot. Perkins calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 22. See if the Bison offense can get rolling, Chris. And the one thing that we've seen so far is that the power gain right up the middle in those A-gaps has been very successful for North Dakota State. Maybe we'll see more of that here on this drive.
I think we absolutely will, and you can tell that the O-line has got something to accomplish today, something to show, because as we've talked about throughout the first quarter, if you watch what's going on with Weber State's defense, they're consistently putting 8, 9 guys up in the box, and yet they're still moving this offensive line pretty easily, which, Brian, you and I both know is fantastic in the first half, because typically teams that match up in the second half against the Bison, it looks like their defensive linemen are on sleds because they're so tired up from these big boys pushing them around.
One thing we've also seen from Weber State is a lot of different personnel packages so far here in the early going. A lot of multiple fronts. Wentz, play action, has plenty of time, fires, and this one is caught, I believe, by Erzendowski. And the official says catch. Weber State saying no, and I think they might want a review on that. Taron Johnson on the coverage for the Wildcats. It almost looked like a simultaneous catch between the two players, didn't it? Take a look at the Noda Mutual Insurance replay.
It sure did. And
Might be tough on a replay to see if he actually lost the football. The Bison are up ready to snap it, so they may not have a chance to look at it here. The motion man on the edge gets the call, and there's room to the outside for Urzendowski. He's got another first down up to the 45. So RJ getting involved in the offense on this drive for North Dakota State.
Nice little jet sweep there, wide open for him, swinging around the end.
Devontae Johnson in on the stop along with Trayvon Johnson. There's 3 Johnsons that start on this defense for Weber State, so we'll do our best to
You've done an outstanding job up to this point,
break them up
Brian.
the best we can. Two tight ends, 2 receivers, single back is Lance Dunn. And Carson Wentz did not like what he saw. Play clock winding down to 2, and he will call for a timeout. We'll be back with more from the Fargo Dome. We're tied at 7, 12:44 to go in the second quarter. Today's broadcast of Bison football is brought to you in high definition by Volume Speaks Volumes, reminding you that one drink isn't always one drink. Speak Volumes bringing you this high definition broadcast here this afternoon. Chris, so far North Dakota State dominating on the ground, 119 rush yards compared to just 25 for Weber State, and 6 different players have already carried the football for NDSU.
Which is exciting. The thing that I'm not so excited about is the fact that Carson Wentz is the leading rusher. It's great to see him run and scoring touchdowns, but I'd like to see our running backs be our leading rusher at this point.
We've not seen King Frazier since he was stripped of the football there as the Bison were driving for what presumably would have been at least a score of some sort, whether it's a touchdown or field goal. Motion man is Williams. Wentz fakes, and he's got a wide open Chase Morlock inside the 20. Goodbye, 55 yards for a touchdown. Well designed, well executed, Chris, by NDSU. Noting mutual insurance replay.
Brian, that's essentially the exact same play they ran against Montana, just the other side of the field this time, and worked very well again. You see Chase there coming out on a wheel route here, absolutely wide open, because typically those linebackers are sneaking into the backfield, trying to look for a run. They sneak up and leaves Chase Morlock wide open to the house.
And Lillenquist really upset with himself. I'm sure they looked at that one on film from the Montana game, and he was burned by it. So North Dakota State takes the momentum back 14-7 with the 55-yard completion from Wentz to Morlock.
And he should be upset with himself, because you know Lillenquist saw that all week on film. Coach said, do not take the fake, do not take the bite. He took it, boom, right over his head for 6.
We'll take a look now at the answer to our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. How many gallons of soy diesel can be produced from 1 acre of soybeans? 50 gallons.
You were close. You said 51, so it was a good guess, Brian.
I guess far over that, but that's all right. That's the answer to your North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. 12:35 to go. North Dakota State gets the go-ahead score, and Chris, we'll see with the defense and how they can respond now as the crowd is back into the football game a little bit.
Well, I feel great about the defense as you watch what's happening. Here's the scoring drive. I see 3 plays, 76 yards. Just took 1 minute off the clock, and again, great play where you can see that Carson or Chase are synced up, and a great catch by Chase Morlock.
Take a look now at the New Seed fan cam. They're having a good time at the Fargo Dome today, and certainly after that catch, fans on their feet, hoping they can get a little more breathing room here before halftime. Stay tuned. We'll have the Proceed halftime report coming up as Alex Egan and DJ Coulter will help break down this first half. They'll take a look also around the Missouri Valley at some other scores and games going on today. Time now for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. They proudly bring you the Bison kickoff as well as a product lineup that'll give you every reason to stand tall. This one bounces at the goal line and out of the back of the end zone as LeCompte does his job. And Weber State will start their next drive at the 25-yard line.
Still waiting to see, Brian, if Weber State can actually convert on a 3rd down. Haven't done it at this point with still 12:35 left. in the second quarter. The Bison defense obviously looking very, very strong. And again, would love to see our DBs get up on these wide receivers' faces, get some hands on them as they're coming off the line of scrimmage.
There was a major scare, by the way, in the FCS today. Jacksonville State on the road at Auburn. Had Auburn down big late in the game. Auburn able to tie it up in the final minutes, and Auburn wins in overtime, 27-20. But that just shows the parity that even the top programs in the FBS to the top programs in the FCS, it's not as far of a gap as people might think. Weber State, we saw that with them last week. 13-7 in the fourth quarter to Oregon State. They had a chance to win that game. Clark, plenty of time, bombing deep, overthrowing everybody as Livingston was double covered this time. Board and C.J. Smith back for NDSU. Boy, Clark has got a bomb, doesn't he? That ball was really thrown out there.
He put that, and he had to, because I thought it was going to be picked by C.J. there, because, you know, Cameron has got some great hands, runs some great routes, but I did not see a sixth gear there, if you will.
2nd and 10 coming up. Inside handoff. Nate Tangway slowed him down a bit as Trayshawn Garrett got the handoff and tackled by Nick DeLuca after a gain of 1. Maybe a yard and a half.
DeLuca again just sniffing out the football. He just has an outstanding nose to be there.
So another 3rd down opportunity here for Weber State.
3rd and 8. Let's see if they can convert their first 3rd down of the season here.
They have gone 78 minutes of game time without a 3rd down conversion. Bison bringing pressure. Stump on it. Here comes the throw as he was drilled in the backfield. Nice job by Brad Ambrosius applying the pressure, as that pass was incomplete. MJ Stump also get on there to put some pressure as we take a look at Clark, whose time ran out in a hurry.
Boom! Great hit. Love to see Ambrosius bringing that.
Weber State in another punting situation. Kiala Makia, low liner, taken by Perkins, spins out of 1 tackle and then dropped right at the 40-yard line. Nice open field tackle by Grant Geary, a senior from Sandy, Utah. The Bison in good field position once again, leading by 7 on the 8 Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. 11:36 to go in quarter number 2. So you want to play college football, huh?
Right now, Jadrian Clarkson, pick up the phone.
Right, Ambrosius did have a half sack against Montana, putting the pressure on there. Carry outside goes to Bruce Anderson, and check out the speed from the true freshman from Ruskin, Florida. 2,000 yards in his final 2 seasons at Ruskin.
J.Wan Harrison there. Sorry about that, Brian. Strong safety, thought he had him in his sights, and all of a sudden Bruce just hit another gear and went right by him.
Almost kept his feet and kept going there. So a nice carry there for Bruce Anderson, his 2nd carry of the game. Goes for almost 20 yards on that run. And Sear, now he settles in at fullback. Play action. Wentz eludes pressure, firing downfield. And this one is incomplete. Good coverage on the play by Devontae Johnson, who was stride for stride with R.J. Urzendowski.
Wasn't much there, and Wentz put it right where it needed to be to ensure to give Urzendowski at least a chance, but make sure it doesn't get picked as well.
Wentz showing off his arm strength as he was able to elude the pressure.
And I tell you what, again, you look at that Josh Burton there. You know, he was up pretty steepy, if you will, before the snap, and all of a sudden he can cover so much territory when that ball was in the ground. He was right there.
Give outside. Boy, that was read really well by Lillenquist, who came right up to drop Lance Dunn after a loss of 6.
He just hit the gap right there on that blitz, and wasn't much the O-line could do.
Jay Hill, the defensive coordinator for this team, is also the head coach for this team. Spent 12 years at Utah. Actually coached under Urban Meyer when he was still at the Utes program, and brings a good defensive mind, also a very good recruiter in the state of Utah. Lillenquist, just a redshirt freshman. A lot of young players on both sides of the ball here for Weber State as he tries to rebuild the program. As Tim Polisek said, we're scratching our heads on how this team only won 2 games last year. They can be a physical team. Inside screen, Chase Morlock eludes one tackler, and Chase Morlock is still going. Down the sidelines, Chase Morlock, touchdown, Bison.
Absolutely love this play call. It's 3rd and long. You run the screen, and here goes Chase. He has the blockers in front of him. Breaks it. What was it? 3 or 4 or 5 tackles, and one last one here for a 6, and takes it to the house. Absolutely outstanding run. Brian, Sean, you and I talked about this before the game. I want to see a guy step up today at that running back position and say, enough running back by committee. This is my job. Chase Morlock is having that kind of game right now. Even though they're catches, I love the way he's running the rock.
And boy, Morlock has lined up just about everywhere. Tight end, fullback, H-back, tailback. A versatile weapon for Tim Polisek, the offensive coordinator for the Bison. And he has a couple of long touchdown receptions here this afternoon as Cam Peterson adds the extra point. It's 21-7, NDSU. Time now for the new seed fan cam. The Bison faithful getting fired up. 140 passing yards, 133 rushing yards. Good balance for the Bison. 273 total yards of offense here in the first half.
To Weber State, 126. And again, to go back to Chase Morlock in that last call, 3rd and long. Weber State's been bringing linebackers pretty much most of the game and to call a screen in that type of situation. Great play call by Tim Polisek, the offensive coordinator.
Time now for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Proudly brings it to you, as well as a product lineup that'll give you every reason to stand tall. Ben LeCompte on once again. Now Drew Batchelor did break one kickoff return so far here today. It was called back due to penalty. See if he gets an opportunity here as LeCompte angles one towards the near sideline, and Batchelor is going to bring it out. Batchelor down the sidelines. Pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. That's where Weber State will have it here, now trailing by 2 touchdowns.
And Weber State's got to come out. They've got to start to do something, Brian. I mean, I know they've got the 7 points because of the one big play, but there's just no momentum. There's nothing really happening with their offense up to this point.
Just 27 rush yards so far here today, and again, that was an area of concern last week. Just 58 rush yards at Oregon State in a 26-7 loss. Saduala, the man in motion, give inside, and nice run there as Trayshawn Garrett finds a crease to the outside, picks up 4 yards up to the 24.
He's a true freshman out of Palmdale, California, and you hear about Jay Hill speak about Trayshawn. They say, hey, this kid is a stud. We're very happy to have him here at Weber State. They think great things are going to come from him.
Again, Zach Smith, another running back they really like at Weber. Did not play last week. We didn't think he was going to play this week due to injury, and he has not seen the field. Play action. Clark steps into this one. And again, miscommunication as Livingston cut inside. The throw was outside, incomplete. Brings up another 3rd down.
You know, again, nice pressure there from the defensive line, but nothing that's going to make Jadrian say, oh, wait a second, I got to start to scramble, get out of the pocket. I think there's no rhythm right now to this offense. And obviously, it helps when you got guys like Ambrosius making you want to pick up the phone with quarterback sacks like that. So
Weber State on the season, 0 of 17 on 3rd down. Five receiver set. 5 on the play clock. 2 on the play clock. Clark gets it off. Quick drop again, fires across the middle. This one is caught short of the 1st down as Livingston made the catch, but C.J. Smith all over him. Makes the stop, 3 yards short of the 1st down marker. Boy, the coach is so happy to have C.J. Smith back in that secondary.
Great coverage right there, and that was really all that was there. I was watching the other wide receivers, and Livingston was about the only guy that even had any chance of catching the pass right there.
And Chris Kleiman said he believes C.J. Smith is one of the best corners not only in the Missouri Valley but in the country. As Kyler McKeah has a high end-over-end punt taken by C.J. Smith at the 30-yard line, and that's where the Bison will have it here as they look to build on a 14-point lead. There's a look at Chris Kleiman, a product of Northern Iowa, like a certain color analyst I know standing next to me. Second year as head coach here at North Dakota State after serving as defensive coordinator for a few seasons. Originally came here as a secondary coach. And he played secondary.
Yes, and he is so happy to be here. Obviously, I talked to him during the offseason and whatnot, and he just loves Fargo, loves the NDSU tradition, and it's great to have him here as our head coach.
Bison come out with 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Draw the motion man. Wentz will dump it off to Morlock. No one within arm's reach of Chase Morlock, and he is inside Weber State territory. Runs over Devontae Johnson at midfield, and the Bison really getting a lot of mileage out of number 25 in the receiving game today.
Somebody needs to tell Jay Hill 25 is on the field, and they need to sound an alarm because he is obviously playing lights out today. Chase Morlock. They need to put some kind of rover or somebody on him to ensure that he doesn't touch the ball anymore this game.
Boy, how about these numbers for Chase Morlock in the first half? 4 catches, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he's a running back.
Speaking of running backs, good sign here, Brian. King Frazier is back in the game right now. You can see him there in the I-back position.
Urzendowski, the motion man, here on 1st and 10. And I believe we're going to have a false start. One of the areas, Chris, we were concerned about potentially for North Dakota State was the offensive line, but they have really answered the bell today.
They are playing lights out. And again, I know we talked about Zach Zemer
First down.
being fairly new. You can see there.
Just a little bit of a twitch by Joe Haig. Or was it Albers? I think they got Joe Haig. That's who the official mentioned as a false start, as he just twitched a little bit. But Zach Zemer, we see Tanner Volson in the game, a redshirt freshman from rural North Dakota and Balfour, getting a chance to play today. And those guys have done a nice job on the interior. This one swung out and caught. Urzendowski picks up close to 10 yards inside Weber State territory to the 45.
Another great play, Paul Bryan. I mean, if you watch what's happening here, there's just so much space for the wide receivers, for Chase Morlock. Once they get the ball in their hands, plenty of room for them to run.
Back to the ground game. Frazier puts his head down, pulls ahead, going to be just short of a first down up to the 41. Beth Houle on the sidelines for us today has a report. Beth.
Hey guys, that's right. You're talking about this offensive line and how impressive they've been when we were worried about them a little bit coming into this game. Standing on the sidelines, hearing them when they come off the field. Zach Zemer, one of the first guys looking to dissect things, improve, and get better with all the other new guys out there. They're continuing to improve, looking for the best thing in each next snap.
So the Bison will put the jumbo personnel in here on 3rd and 1. They'll hand it off to Morlock. Boy, I don't know. I think he's short. Either. I don't think he got there.
They're going to need a good spot to convert this one.
And Jawan Harrison came in. Really nice job by Gallegos. The nose tackle was able to get some penetration and blow that thing up a little bit. And Chris Kleiman will punt it on 4th and 1. The fan base trying to urge the head coach to go for it here, but Chris, I think with 6 minutes left in the second quarter and a 14-point lead is going to.
And oh, by the way, an All-American punter, that doesn't hurt either. So, you can pin it back deep, and the defense is playing lights out. So, pin him inside the 20, get the ball back with good field position, assuming you stop them and go back and score.
You see Easton Stick on headset there, and the speculation was maybe that Easton Stick would make his debut today, and Chris Kleiman is changing his mind. He is going to put the offense back out on the field here in 4th and 1. And Connor Riley, the offensive line coach for NDSU, was jumping up and down saying, guys, we got to move the pile here on 4th and 1.
And I love this call. You know, we talked about this when they played against Montana, how the coach at Montana, hey, it's 4th down, we're going to go for it. You're inside your own 50, obviously in their side of the field. Go for this thing, especially the way they've been pushing these guys around on the offensive line.
The Bison 2 of 4 on 4th down so far this season. Let's see if they maybe just, and there's players still running on the field here for Weber as they had a returner in the game. Now they're trying to get organized. Wentz, handoff to Morlock, and he moves the pile just enough across the 40-yard line for a 1st down. Weber State had some confusion there as they had a returner on the field and were running defensive linemen on at the last moment. Still almost came up with the stop.
You just watch the way they move that pile, Brian. You get the feeling this offensive line, we've talked about it throughout the day, but they've got something to prove, and you could feel even on that play right there, they were not going to be stopped, and clearly they weren't.
LeGrand Toya, another redshirt freshman from Riverton, Utah, made the stop. Actually a really good rugby player from what I'm told. Wentz, time in the pocket, fires on the out. Boy, I don't know if that ball was caught, but if it was a spectacular catch by Zach Vra. Wow. Or was that Morlock?
Morlock caught that. Wow.
Scooped it before it hit the turf. No, that was Vra. That was Zach Vra. And he did get underneath that football. Wow, how about the hands on number 82?
Great catch.
And Wentz kind of motioned over to Vra because he came off the field and was hurt. Still bent over a little bit.
The previous play on the sideline is under further review.
And they're going to take another look at it, but from what we saw, Chris, this is going to stand as a completion for NDSU.
It looked like in the replay there that Zach got his hand underneath it just fine and had possession once he settled.
How about that catch from Zach Vra? Wow.
I know, watching it live, there's no way.
Yeah, I was like,
scoop that up off the ground.
Boy, pretty good coverage there by Taron Johnson. I mean, what do you do as a defender there? I mean, he was in a perfect position to make a play on the ball, and yeah, I think that's a catch. Looks like Vra's leg may have gotten rolled up on a little bit as he came up with the reception. Was kind of bothered by a hamstring a little bit in fall camp and did take some practices off. Ooh. And he is reaching towards that shoulder area. And again, Zach Vra is playing with metal in his chest. He had a couple of collarbone breaks earlier in his career, which is why he's a 6th-year senior, because he had 2 years lost due to medical reasons. And he's just kept this steel plate in his collarbone area to protect against the injury. I asked Zach earlier in fall camp, are you going to have that removed when you're done playing? He said, if it doesn't bother me, I'm just going to keep it in forever. That's his plan. So hopefully it's not a collarbone issue there for Vra, who's certainly had his fair share of those in the past.
And clearly we don't know, but it looked like he was automatically reaching in that direction there at the end of that play. So we'll keep you abreast on Mr. Vra.
The ruling on the field of a completed catch is confirmed.
Not only does it stand, it's confirmed, meaning he did catch that after taking a further look at it. Great catch by number 82. 2 receptions on the day, 19 yards for Zach Vra. Oh, Tim Polasek so happy to have him come back for a 6th year because the receiving corps got a little bit thin. Kerry Woods left the team. Didn't have a lot of experience there, and having Vra along with Urzendowski and a couple of redshirt freshmen, Kayvon Hawkins and Darius Shepard, now gives them a little bit more depth. Bruce Anderson taken down right away. Nice job on the outside by Trayvon Johnson. Took down the true freshman. That will bring up 3rd and 3.
Think they run Wentz here, Brian, or what are your thoughts what they're going to do here on 3rd and 3?
We saw a lot of quarterback run early. We've not seen a lot of it here lately. So I'll be curious to find out what Tim Polasek dials up here. Dimitri Williams, another true freshman on the bottom side of your screen, number 4. Williams in motion. And Wentz is going to run it. Picks his way across the 25, 30-yard line up to the 28. Good enough for a Bison 1st down. So, Chris, there it was.
He's so hard to stop at 6'6", again, 230, and then you've got these guys running around for the fake you know, jet sweeps and the play action and the reads that he has, I don't know, 3rd and 3, how you stop a quarterback like this.
Good block there by Jeremy Kelly, sealing off his man, and Wentz followed him right up the hole, and Trayvon Johnson another tackle. Play action again. Wentz, wheel route to Bruce Anderson, and he could not haul it in for the touchdown, but boy, he had a step on Lillenquist. Same play that Chase Morlock scored on earlier this quarter.
Outstanding pass from Carson Wentz. Bruce Anderson, as you're going to see here, he's got almost a couple steps on Lillenquist, puts it right there, and Bruce Anderson being a running back, you know what, over the course of his career, he's going to get coached up. He'll catch that probably even next time or definitely this season.
When asked about pulling the red shirt from Bruce Anderson, with the Bison seemingly pretty deep at tailback, the thought was, well, Bruce just does some special things with the ball in his hands. We want to utilize those skills already this season. Wentz fires on the slant. And a flag comes in late as it looked like Vra was contacted early on the play by Corey Wilson.
See if we can show you a replay on that, but from up here, Brian, that looks like that's the right call. He was a little bit early there on Zach Vra. Vra, good timing from Wentz and Vra there, and it would have been a completion, I think, if he doesn't get hit just a little bit early there.
And Wilson is another true freshman in this Weber State program, and I think he felt he timed it pretty well, but just
the play is an incomplete
they're going to
pass.
pick it up.
There was no foul for defensive pass interference.
So they're going to pick up the flag, and Chris Kleiman wants an explanation down on the field for that. This is another good-looking true freshman athlete, though, for Weber State. Corey Wilson certainly looks the part.
Everything you read about this team, the coaches keep saying, hey, we're young, but we're close, just give us a few more games. And I think once this team starts getting that mentality to win some close games, they're going to flip the switch, and you'll see a lot more W's at Weber State.
Again, they were picked to finish 11th in the Big Sky, but based on what we've seen, if they can get the offense figured out a little bit, they can be pretty dangerous in the Big Sky this year. Wentz gets rid of it. In the flat to Morlock. Not much room that time as the Wildcats were all over it. Aflava along with Johnson made the stop after a pickup of maybe 2 yards. We'll bring on Ben Lecomte for a field goal attempt. You see the closing speed there from Aflava. Excellent job from his middle linebacker position.
He can play.
Ben Lecomte has only attempted 1 field goal on the season. He missed a 45-yarder in the second quarter at Montana. They'll give it a go here from about 43. This one a little bit low, but it is no good. Pushed it a little bit to the right. So Lecomte now 0 of 2 on the season, and Weber State able to hold. Will take over at the 33.
He had plenty of leg there, just pushed it just a little bit. You want to go back to that third play, Brian. A lot of people think, you know, it's 3rd and long. Why are we hitting Chase Morlock in the flats? But I think anytime you're getting a completion, you're moving the ball down the field. You never know what can happen. Like Bill Walsh used to coach, he says, look, take what you can get and let the guys do their thing. And with the way Chase is playing right now, who knows? He could have broke that thing for a first down.
So Weber State has 2:58 to try to get something going offensively to cut into this 14-point deficit. Inside handoff goes to Wilkes. Good strong running as he got up to the 29. Pickup of 3. Again, these running backs for Weber State are not the tallest guys, but little bowling balls.
And Wilkes is the epitome of that, but I love the way he just gets in there and scraps it up, isn't afraid to put his head down, and even hit some of these defensive linemen just head on.
A true sophomore, now he'll split out. Empty backfield here on 2nd and 7. Clark fires. Looks like he was over the head of Cameron Livingston and incomplete. C.J. Smith again on the coverage. Taking a look at the total yardage for today's game so far, and right now North Dakota State really putting the offense together. 322 total yards, including 180 through the air.
And a lot of those 180 from Chase Morlock.
Now Chase, 129 receiving yards and 22 rushing yards. Clark on third down to Livingston. Makes the catch, but he cannot get away from C.J. Smith. And again, another third down goes by the wayside for Weber State. And Chris Kleiman quickly calls a timeout, I think. And the clock is still moving. He may have to put some time back on the clock, as the clock did not stop right away. They may have lost about 10-12 seconds.
Great coverage there by C.J. Smith, absolutely shutting him down. One of the things that was interesting there, Brian, is they put, I think it was Pierre Guy Tucker out wide, and I'm not sure if it was a running back or an H-back that went out there, but they had him outside. I thought they might go deep there to him, but Pierre did a great job covering him.
Yeah, I had thought that quite a bit of time had come off the clock, so they'll reset the clock from 1:58 to 2:11, so that gives the offense a few extra seconds to try to get down the field and maybe get in the field goal range again. Overall thoughts on the first half, Chris, defensively for NDSU. Yes, the big play. We've seen a couple of big passing plays in the first quarter. The true freshman gets beat. That's going to happen from time to time. But overall, they've done a pretty good job locking things down today.
I think they've been outstanding defensively. The one thing I like to see a little bit more of is having their cornerbacks, again, get up in these wide receivers' faces, so it's not such an easy release off the line of scrimmage. Maybe that's an adjustment they'll make at halftime.
Matt Entz said, we didn't play as fast as I would have liked to have seen against Montana. Hopefully we can get that figured out today and have guys play with a little more confidence, a little more swagger. Perkins calls for the fair catch at the 22, and Robbie Grimsley came off the edge and went flying into the leg of the punter, but he was blocked into the punter. We have learned that Zach Vra just had the wind knocked out of him, and he will return to the game today. So that's certainly good news for the Bison offense.
Great news there.
And North Dakota State now 2:06 to try to go down the field, taking over at their only 24-yard line. Boy, how about Carson Wentz? Unsure if he's going to play. Has been pretty sharp today. 12 of 17 for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, not to mention 44 rushing yards on 3 carries and a touchdown. So he's done a little bit of everything today. Extremely
sharp, and I think in this drive you're going to want to watch number 25, Chase Morlock. He may break another one as we head into halftime.
North Dakota State 1 timeout remaining. Wentz fires on the slant to Darius Shepard, and the redshirt freshman from Blue Springs, Missouri is loose. Inside the 40, down to the 35-yard line.
Outstanding throw by Carson Wentz. You'll see he puts it right on the money. Perfect throw. I mean, that was nice coverage, and what I'm most excited about is you see Darius Shepard actually almost pulling away from number 7, Josh Burton. Darius found another gear. And Burton has really not been the factor today that he was a year ago. Inside screen to Morlock. He's got blockers again as he spins his way down to the 22-yard line with 1:40 to go. Another first down, and just like that, North Dakota State in 2 plays has gone right down the field, and they'll go quick again. The way Weber State continues to bring linebackers, I love those screen calls, and it looks like they may be bringing another middle linebacker up the gap again. Wentz calling out signals. Will go to the air again. Deep fade route looking for Shepard. Incomplete. Burton on the coverage. Also back deep for Weber State was Exil Carey. Put that ball out in front of him just a little bit more, and we are celebrating a 6-pointer. So Zekiel got in there and made the play. And boy, hit the ball without turning around. That was a good defensive play, but maybe a little bit lucky as the ball just kind of came down and hit him right in the arm. I've seen Darius Shepard targeted on this drive, Chris. He looks fantastic on this drive. 3 receivers to the high side. Got Vra down here solo. He might go to Vra one-on-one, which he does. That ball a little bit behind his intended target. Again, good coverage on the play by Taron Johnson. Signed as a wide receiver as a true freshman just this past year. Came into camp,
He said, nope, you're going to be a corner. And it's worked out well so far here for Weber State.
That's a ball that Carson Wentz wants back. He knows he had Zach Fra. Fra had a step on Johnson there, and Wentz just put it behind him for some reason.
So 3rd and 10 coming up with 1:17 to go. Lance Dunn into the game at running back. Shepard. Wide open receiver is Fra across the middle. Well designed, and a touchdown for North Dakota State.
I got to tell you, Carson Wentz off that fly sweep fake, he's dangerous. That's his, what, 2nd touchdown pass off the similar look today. That time he hits Vra heading up the seam and puts it right. I don't think Vra knew that was coming. It just stuck inside of his shoulder pad.
So the Bison go 77 yards in just 56 seconds to go up 21. Peterson will add the extra point. And the Bison take a 28-7 lead, and that play was well designed by the offensive coordinator, Tim Polasek, freeing up his 6-year senior as you take a look at the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
There's that fake off the jet sweep again, and Vra's like, whoa, here it comes. Sticks right in his shoulder pad and takes it to the house. Huge, huge confidence builder, Brian, as you're heading into halftime. We just walk down the field unscathed, if you will.
You know, the one thing I did not expect after what we've seen from Weber State's defense against Oregon State, what we've seen in the past, was 400 yards of total offense in the first half by North Dakota State. 400 yards!
And what I've been so impressed with Tim Polasek is the way he's mixed it up, because we thought, hey, we are going to ground and pound. One of the things we haven't talked about, Oregon State put up a ton of rushing yards on them last week. Last year, Weber State, I think they were 11th or something like that in the Big Sky as far as the rushing defense. Not very solid, but gosh, just watch Chase Morlock and those guys. Outstanding job in the air as well. And here you see Rob with his 23-yard touchdown reception. That almost looked too easy.
Of course, the big pass play to Shepard really got things started on the deep slant. And that got him deep into Weber State territory, and then the Bison able to convert on 3rd down for a touchdown. 23 yards on the scoring play from Wentz to Vra. Another Peterson farm seat kickoff. Proud to bring it to you along with a product lineup that'll give you every reason to stand tall. And that is Wilkes taking it at his own 7. Jitterbugs his way up to the 22, taken down on the play by Matt Plank. Another one of those linebackers that Chris Kleiman is hoping will get a chance to play some reps today. We've seen a variety of different defensive linemen so far as well. So we'll see what Weber State decides to do here with 106.5.
You know, I'd love to be in that huddle right now and see what the coaches are saying, because I don't know if they're going to have an answer.
See what Chris Kleiman has to say about the first half. As Beth Hool will catch up with him, I'm sure he's relatively pleased with everything he's seen so far. Batchelor is the wide receiver in motion. Clark will throw, dumps it off, and it's caught by Batchelor. Up to the 31, pickup of 8. Taken down by Jalen Allison, a redshirt freshman from Papillion, Nebraska. Clark back to work across the middle. It's Batchelor again, who's met. And he lost the football, but was whistle had blown at the 35. Good enough for a first down as Jordan Champion came in to lay the wood in the middle of the field.
Great hit.
Batchelor's going to come off. He's feeling that one.
Are they calling that a catch, or was it an incompletion? So here we are back at 3rd down, Brian. They got about, what, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Could this be their first 3rd down conversion of the season?
I'd be curious to see if they take another look at that. Again, Weber State recovered the fumble, but it might have been enough for a first down. Instead, they're staring a 3rd down in the face with 43 seconds to go. Bison faithful on their feet. Clark hands it off onto the way. And Trayshawn Garrett has a first down up to the 40-yard line. Garrett, 5 carries now, 15 yards. Clark steps up and was getting taken down as he threw it. And that ball was spiked into the turf with 31 seconds to go.
It's been another bright spot for the Bison defense today, Brian, as they've been rushing 4 guys, but still putting a lot of pressure on Jadrian Clark, the quarterback there. That is a very, very good sign.
There's a look at the Bobcat game recap. North Dakota State, 18 first downs already in the first half. 256 passing yards. Clark, I think had his arm hit as he threw it. Falls incomplete. Dangerous pass as it fluttered in the air. And a 3rd down coming up. Clark looking a little bit frustrated.
I think Menard got in there, if I'm seeing the number correctly, and hit his arm as he was releasing the football.
Menard played as a true freshman last year, limited reps. Coach is hoping for bigger things here in 2015 from the sophomore from Lakeville. Pocket collapses, this one overthrown as Clark was drilled on the play.
Again, rushing 4, the heat's coming, he's picking himself up off the turf.
See who got in there, and it was Jared Tuska. Sophomore from Warner, South Dakota, has a younger brother that's redshirting in the program. The Bison stunt a little bit on the defensive line, and Tuska got a clean shot.
I tell you what, Brian, as a quarterback going into the second half, getting put down that many times on this drive, it starts to get in your head a little bit and get happy feet maybe in the second half.
So 22 seconds remain here in the first half. The second quarter has felt like it's taken forever, Chris. It's just gone on. And again, a lot of the scoring has certainly led to that. Colin McKee on once again as Perkins calls for the fair catch at the 25, and the Bison will have 16 seconds where I'm guessing they will take a knee and call it good for the first half.
I don't know. What was the last drive? 55 seconds. Carson Wentz is on fire. Chase Morlock, Darius Shepard. You never know.
There's a look at Jay Hill in his second year at Weber State. Said the talent level is better on this team. We have to figure out a way to win some of the games that we have a chance to win. Now they were down early and it wasn't looking good at all, and then all of a sudden a big turnover turned into 7 points the other way, but now North Dakota State has outscored Weber 21-0 here in the second quarter.
And just dominated them. I mean, there's been no rhythm from their offense at this point. I'm sure Coach Hill's, as frustrated as anybody over there on that sideline.
The Bison come out with 3 receivers. This doesn't look like a kneel down formation. And Morlock will get the carry around the edge, and Chase Morlock picks up 9 yards.
Love to see him call a timeout here. I don't think they will, but I'd love to see him do it, at least give it a shot.
And that will do it for the first half. And Chase Morlock, 31 rushing yards to go along with 141 receiving yards. And the Bison have a 28-7 halftime lead. Looked like a scuffle on the sideline over at Weber State as there was a player getting blocked out of bounds by Jeremy Kelly. Both teams will now head to the locker room. Beth Houle will have a chance to catch up with head coach Chris Kleiman, get his thoughts here on the first half. And then we'll get you out to the Proceed halftime report where Alex Egan and DJ Coulter are standing by. Beth?
Hey guys, joined by Coach Kleiman, Coach Carson Wentz and Chase Morlock. Oh, that connection on fire today. Was that planned? Did you guys see those two being able to connect like this today?
Well, no, because we didn't have Carson practicing most of the week, so we didn't know what he was going to do, but he's playing a nice football game. We lost some momentum there in the first quarter, which was real disappointing and made it a 7-7 game, but I was proud of the way the guys came back and took the momentum back.
How about that defense, being able to respond like that, come back, and get this crowd back in this game?
Well, it's great, but we can't give up a big play, period.
They've held the Weber State offense to just a $150 in yards, though. That's pretty good considering.
Yeah, no, we're playing okay. We got to play better on defense.
All right, thanks. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Beth. 28-7, your halftime score. We'll take you to a quick timeout and then have you out for the Proceed halftime report. Alex Egan and DJ Coulter standing by with a look at Valley football scores and first half analysis from here at the Fargo Dome. Stay with us. The Proceed halftime report is coming up next. Thank you very much, guys, for the Proceed halftime report. Brian Shaw and Chris Berg. North Dakota State a 28-7 lead. Beth Houle had a chance to catch up with Weber State head coach Jay Hill.
Hey guys, joined by Weber State head coach Jay Hill here. Coming out of halftime, what'd you tell the team down 28-7 in this one?
Well, we're making things up. We're not covering anyone. We're not nearly stout enough against the run. Defensively, we got to pick it up. They already got more yards this week than in the first half than we had against Oregon State last week in the whole game. Bottom line, we're making things up. We got to get back to executing our schemes, and you got to give credit to North Dakota State. They've done a great job.
Livingston tore it open there in the first quarter, tying it up 7-7. How much more can we expect you guys to need to find him?
Well, we got to get him the ball, and our offense got to do a better job getting him the ball. Bottom line, we got a lot of things to clean up, but this is still we got a second half. We got to play.
How capable is your team of coming back in this one?
We're capable. There's no doubt.
All right, thanks, Coach. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Beth. The Bison will take over on the 25 after the touchback Dimitri Williams took. So the Bison now trying to build on the 21-point lead. Carson Wentz back to work. We'll hand it off this time to Frazier, who eludes one tackler and then wrapped up nicely on the play by Trayvon Johnson after a gain of 2.
Brian, you sense the frustration in Coach Hill's voice. Not happy, obviously, somewhat understandably so, with the first half performance.
Well, and I think, as a defensive coach, you don't ever want to give up 28 points in a half, but certainly in a game of this magnitude, as well as your defense played last week, you almost feel like you're regressing a little bit. 400
yards in the first half of the NDSU Bison.
So the Bison come out here, the 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, single back again is Frazier. Play action this time. Wentz tried to dump it off on a screen to Bonnet as Wentz was pressured on the play nicely by Jonathan Carlson.
Good play here by the defensive end. Carlson didn't take the fake, held the outside, and obviously made a nice play there on Carson Wentz.
So NDSU, a 3rd and long coming up, and the Bison pretty good on 3rd down in the first half, 6 of 9. Shepard is the motion man.
Got man coverage, they're coming.
And here they come. Blitz comes, fires to Vron. It's behind him, incomplete. And had Vron caught that in stride, I think you are looking at a 6-point play. That ball, there was nobody back for Weber State.
You're exactly right. And again, I'm a little bit stunned. For some reason, he's throwing it behind Vra on those slant routes. I'm not exactly sure why. And if those guys were to connect, Vra would have taken that to the house.
Now, despite both teams really trying to put pressure on the quarterback today, and that a point of emphasis, booming punt from the Cops. Wow. Inside the 10, it might be even a touchback. You don't not see that very often. A 64-yard punt. And Weber State will take over on their own 20. But neither team has a sack today, Chris, despite trying to put pressure on the quarterback, which is surprising considering how much Weber State has blitzed and how much North Dakota State has gotten after Jaden Clark.
Yeah, he's been getting rid of the ball, meaning Jaden Clark, just in time before the snap. So I'm sure he's hoping to actually complete some of those passes now. But boy, he just has not had the time to throw. And I don't know if they're going to have to keep in a tight end or keep a running back in or what, but they're going to do something to give Clark some time to actually look downfield, because Livingston's been open a few times. He's going to be able to get him the ball.
Clark 7 of 18 for 114 yards in the first half. And there goes Wilkes. Excuse me, Trayshawn Garrett got the call there on first down, and he picks up a first down, 10 yards up to the 30-yard line.
Again, DeLuca sniffing out the football here, as you're going to see. DeLuca runs downfield. Trayshawn Garrett, the true freshman. Really nice move there by the true freshman, and a big pickup for Weber State.
Tackle missed in the hole there by Trey Dempsey, who came in from his safety spot. Hand off again. Cutback run for Garrett. 5 more yards up to the 35. And DeLuca, another tackle.
Right now, first down, getting 5 yards. That's a big, big win for the Weber State Wildcats the way the first half went. If they continue to do that, that's, I think, part of what Jay Hill would like to see this team do.
And off inside again. The Bison better prepared for it that time. MJ Stump sticks his nose in there and brings down Garrett for a gain of 2. Another 3rd down conversion coming up for Weber State. Weaver did get a third down conversion, by the way, late in the first half. Their first of the season, but they are 1 of 8 today.
3rd and 3 here again. Remember last time they converted, it was about 3rd and 3 in the first half. They actually ran a little draw play. You see here, they spread them out. You may see a quarterback draw from Clark. He's got pretty good feet.
Here comes pressure from NDSU. Livingston had it in his hands and looked like he had a chance at a first down, but it is off his hands and incomplete. Will bring up 4th down.
And if he catches that rock, Ryan, he goes quite a ways. You're going to see here, I think it's Joe Hawkins, their center, is coming out on the screen right there. And Joe's a big boy, honorable mention, all Big Sky. He's going to put some hat on people, and Livingston's probably still running if he catches that ball.
And Jay Hill had mentioned we got to get the ball in Livingston's hands. Our offense has to do a better job of that, and there Livingston didn't help himself. Flag comes out as the ball was snapped as Perkins takes it at his 12. Bounces off a couple of tacklers, and nice strong finish there from Eric Perkins up to the 24-yard line, but we'll see what the flag is all about.
You know, those are the plays why Jay Hill's so frustrated. A wide receiver screen, those should be gimmies at this level of football. Then you see one of your good wide receivers drop it when it hits you right in the hands. I think that's why you see a head coach that's frustrated and said, hey guys, we just make some plays, we could potentially be in this football game.
Looks like it is a formation penalty, legal procedure against Weber State, so Chris Kleiman, I'm guessing, will decline the penalty.
Illegal formation, number 21 on the kicking team. It's a 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, North Dakota State.
Kleiman will elect to just have the 5 yards added to the end of the return from Perkins, so the Bison will start off on their own 29-yard line. After a 3-and-out on their first drive, the Bison defense gives up 1 first down and then gets the offense right back on the field. And today's game brought to you in high definition by Parents Lead, providing tips and tools for conversations that matter.
So Brian, we're heading to the second half here. 400 yards in the first half by the Bison offense. Do they change anything?
Seems to be working whatever they have going on. And that was Dimitri Williams on the fly sweep. That got the carry. He's brought down for a loss of 2. And Williams, again, one of those true freshmen playmakers out of Rosemont High School that they're hoping can fill the void for that slot receiver. They've had trouble finding a guy that consistently produce at that position since Ryan Smith left the program. They've tried a number of different players there, and maybe Williams can be that guy.
Here we go. You got the 8-9 guys in the box again.
Connor Wentz, the tight end, in motion. Back to the running game. Off tackle. King Frazier taken down from behind by Yosua Opeta, another redshirt freshman from Stansbury Park, Utah. So 3rd and 11 coming up off the 1-yard run from Frazier. And already the first couple of plays we've seen defensively from Weber State has been much better, much more gap sound, and not getting gashed as much in the run game so far.
Trayvon Johnson coming off the edge there. He's doing a nice job this game.
Well, Tim Polasek said he has improved immensely from last year when they played. So he's looking so much better as Wentz fires right on the money to Zach Vra. Up to the 45-yard line. Gain of 16, good enough for a Bison first down.
That was beautifully executed. You're going to see here Vra, as soon as he turns around, he's pretty well covered. That ball is there. Carson Wentz throwing the ball on time. And Vra, the linebacker, obviously thought Vra was going deep. Vra puts his foot in the ground, turns around, and boom, for a first down.
Pretty tough for LeGrand Toya, an outside linebacker, to match up with Zach Vra in the slot, but that's what we saw in that play. Back to the running game. Bruce Anderson, ooh, almost busted out into the open. Picks up 4 yards up to the 49. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage by Likio Pope.
Chase Morlock is in the game. Just want everyone to know that because he's having such an outstanding game. He may be getting the rock again and go 50 yards and score.
172 all-purpose yards for Chase Morlock today, including a couple of touchdowns. Morlock gets the run, trying to get outside, and Chase Morlock still going at the 30. Morlock cuts it back, inside the 15 and down to the 13-yard line.
Outstanding run by Chase Morlock. This guy is in the zone right now.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Made a man miss there, made a man miss at the line of scrimmage. Got a block there downfield. Eventually pushed out of bounds.
And you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, obviously Chase Morlock, great run, but this is the middle linebacker, Carson Lillenquist, running all the way down the field to push Chase out of bounds.
Not as much room to roam on that play as Lance Dunn is taken down. Maybe got 1 yard. Lillenquist has been a busy guy today. 10 tackles last week against Oregon State. A lot of these guys making plays for Weber State defensively, Chris, are redshirt freshmen. So I think you'd think they're going to get better as the NDSU's back in the superior ink red zone.
And Lillenquist again today, leading the team in tackles. He had the 9 in the first half, and obviously another one there against Chase.
The Bison will give it again to King Frazier, who almost got through the hole. Taken down at the 5-yard line. Aflava in on that play along with Alima Key.
That's a great run by King Frazier. 2nd and 9, come in, pick up 5, right up the gut. Good to see him putting his nose down and picking up 5 yards in a nice power play.
You know, Alima Key, the outside linebacker for Weber State that made that tackle, played in 2010, did not play again until 2014, and then tore up his knee and missed all of last season. So it's really been about 5 years since this guy's played in a live football game. Bootleg for Wentz. Pressure coming. He dumps it off, but boy, that was covered up nicely by Weber State defensively. Again on the play is Jonathan Carlson for a loss of 7. As Morlock was taken down, and that'll bring on Ben LeCompte for a field goal attempt. Excuse me, I think they're going to go with Cam Peterson here. So the true freshman has a chance for his first ever field goal in a Bison uniform. 6'1", 170 from Eau Claire, Wisconsin is Peterson. Boy, that looked awfully good off his foot as Peterson connects on his first ever career field goal attempt, and the Bison have extended their lead to 31-7 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. We'll be back with more third quarter action from the Fargo Dome after this. This game brought to you in high definition on KBLY and the NBC North Dakota Sports Network. Live in Fargo on a beautiful fall day in Fargo, North Dakota for this home opener between North Dakota State and Weber State. Next week, we'll be back with you again for a game I think a few folks are looking forward to. North Dakota and North Dakota State kick off for the first time as Division I opponents. You got to go back all the way to 2002, the last time those two teams have played. That was at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks. As we get set to kick off another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed.
Even today, Brian, as I was walking around the dome, you know, talking to people who were like, oh boy, can't wait till next Saturday, can't wait till next. I was like, whoa, we got a game to play today.
And North Dakota kicks off at home in their home opener, the Potato Bowl, today at 5 o'clock at the Alaris. Strong run as Wilkes stays on his feet. Tough young man to bring down. Fancy footwork up to the 25. But Chris, there's a reason why Wilkes has fancy footwork. He used to be in ballet as a younger man.
You were like a football encyclopedia. Where'd you pull that story out of?
I just heard the word. He participated in ballet as a young man. That's why you kind of see he's got some pretty good feet he works with. 9 plays, 61 yards, and 452, capped off by the Cam Peterson field goal on that scoring drive for North Dakota State. Delayed handoff. And Wilkes gets the carry there as he jitterbugs up as Brad Ambrosius takes him down after a gain of 1. Wilkes really had to battle through some injuries last year. Saw some action as a true freshman, but just was nicked up. Never really got to 100%. The coaches hope he will break out here in 2015. Wilkes again gets the carry. Not much room as the Bison swarm him from behind. After another gain of maybe a yard, we'll bring up a 3rd and long. Time now for our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. What percentage of North Dakota soybeans are exported? I have an idea. It's a large percentage.
I was just going to say, another 3rd long here, Brian. Obviously, they're 1-4 as far as their 3rd down conversions this season. We'll see what they do right here. I'm assuming they're looking for Cameron Livingston, but depends if he's going to have the time to throw or not.
And it is caught. Fighting for a 1st down on the play is Braden Corpus, a junior from Boise, Idaho. His 1st catch of the afternoon, his 2nd of the season, going to be short by about 3 yards. The Bison just 3 down linemen on that look, Chris, and that's something defensive coordinator Matt Entz said we are going to do a little bit more of, especially in 3rd and long, because we like the players we can blitz if we need to from different spots on the field.
I think Coach Entz is going to be very, very happy with the way his defense is showing up today.
With the exception of the 168-yard touchdown pass, which Chris Kleiman certainly wasn't happy about, at least still have been pretty good about holding this Weber State offense in check. Eric Perkins will call for the fair catch at the 23, and the Bison will have it there, leading by 24. Maybe a chance here, Chris, after this drive, if North Dakota State can get some points to maybe play some of their younger players on both sides of the ball. Because you never know when some of these young guys may have to step in a key situation, and getting them reps is an important piece of that.
Well, as you talked about throughout the last 2 weeks, they've been given a ton of reps to a lot of 2nd and 3rd string guys, and this is a great opportunity to give someone like Easton Stick some game time just in case. We saw what happened in Montana, obviously, with Carson Wentz, so always a good thing when you can get your 2nd and 3rd stringers in there to get some game time reps.
The offensive line has really done a nice job for North Dakota State today, despite missing Zach Johnson and having a little bit nicked up Jeremy Kelly at the guard spot. Frazier trying to get the edge. Excuse me, that's Lance Dunn on the carry as he's bumped down on the play by Jawine Harrison.
You know, I was watching Andrew Bonnet on that play, Brian. You just got to tip your hat to him. The guy just loves to stick his nose in there and just lay his head on people. And there again, he had a great block on that run.
Harrison, a nice job running down Lance Dunn. And Harrison actually participates on the Weber State track and field team. So a guy that is a 2-sport athlete at Weber State. Inside this time to Morlock. Jumps through the hole. And then taken down by Lillenquist, a yard short of the 1st down, up at the 32. Nordic Mutual Insurance replay. Nice patient run there by Chase Morlock. I know a lot of running backs want to hit that hole hard, but sometimes you got to wait for things to develop a little bit.
I was just going to say 2nd and 6, I think it was. Now it's 3rd and 1. I think this is where you're going to start to see potentially Weber State, like I like to say, defensive linemen on their sleds. This O-line so well conditioned, thanks to Coach Kramer. I think you're going to see them just continue to open up holes and just ground and pound the 2nd half.
3rd and 1 for all the motion man. And Wentz is just going to plunge ahead, and I think he's got it up to the 33. And they do move the chains for a 1st down. Offensive linemen scraping themselves off the turf, including Austin Kunertz, who's moved to center. Now time for the answer of our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. What percentage of North Dakota soybeans are exported? 95%.
You said a lot. I'd say that is a lot.
It's a very relative term, but I'm going to stick with it. Empty formation here. 5 receivers on 1st and 10. Now Morlock motioning into the backfield. And Easton Stick in the game, and this is the 1st career carry for Easton Stick on his 1st collegiate play. And there you can see the athleticism of the redshirt freshman out of Creighton Prep in Omaha.
Great call for a 1st play for Easton. Get his legs underneath him, give him some confidence. You can see here, nice face to Chase. Wide open hole. He just keeps the legs pumping and picks up a few extra yards.
Easton Stick, very heavily recruited out of Omaha. Had a dozen offers, including one from Rutgers. Ended up coming to North Dakota State after a visit on the day College game day came here for the first time. Now Stick gives it off to another true freshman. This is Bruce Anderson on the edge. He's got another first down up to the 35-yard line. So Bison fans getting a chance to look at some of these youngsters that are going to be in the program for a while yet.
And I think what's so exciting, Brian, is I haven't noticed anything different. Whether it's the first or second guy, I couldn't tell unless I saw the actual number. So good sign that they're obviously executing very, very well.
And again, getting a player like Bruce Anderson, who had a couple of FBS offers out of the state of Florida, really is surprising. A young man that certainly shows a lot of ability. Now back to the power running game. King Frazier powers ahead for 5 yards. And Frazier injured a little bit in the first half. Now 9 carries for 54 yards.
Another FBS product, was down in Nebraska, now here obviously with NDSU.
Was recruited originally by Chris Kleiman out of Lee Summit, Missouri. Went to Nebraska, and when King was falling down the depth chart with the Huskers, said, hey, we'd love that. Boy, that was almost a touchdown for Frazier. He just couldn't quite keep his feet. Maybe a yard short of a first down. So Bruce Anderson 5 carries, Carson Wentz 4 carries, King Frazier 10 carries, Chase Morlock 8 carries, and Lance Dunn 5 carries. A lot of different guys handling the football for North Dakota State. And tough to game plan, I'm guessing, defensively, preparing for so many different kinds of running backs.
Coach Polisek, I think, is very, very happy to see the so many different people get a chance to touch the rock.
So another 3rd and short coming up as Stick will hand it off. It's going to be close to a first down. Might be about, boy, a half-yard short as Trayvon Johnson made the tackle from behind.
Another big play by Trayvon. That was Lance Dunn there, and thought Lance might just go straight north and south, run a little bit east and west, and that may have cost him a chance for a first down here.
And that's one of those coaching moments that coach can look in the film room and say, hey, if you can get a first down, you got to get north and south in a hurry, right, Chris?
Especially on 3rd down, you just got to say, look, I'm going to put my head down no matter what and get across the sticks, and unfortunately that didn't happen that time.
Will motion into the backfield. And Frazier, he's got it. Got across the 25. That's all he needed. Good enough for an NDSU first down.
And there you said, great coaching moment before. There you see King Frazier's got some experience. He just put his head down, went straight north and south. And there's the first down.
Now Dunn will come back into the ball game. Easton Stick, as the 3rd quarter rolls down, trying to take the Bison in for another score. 5 receiver empty set here for Easton Stick. Now Dunn will motion to the backfield. Read option for Easton Stick. Somehow kept his feet. Got up to the 21-yard line. What will likely be the final play of the first half.
Nice run here, but I think next time he actually may give it to Dunn. If you watch there, Dunn gets around that end. He is going a long, long ways, but again, nice run there by Easton Stick. And I like this. You put Easton Stick in at the end of the 3rd quarter. You can tell they're being very deliberate, taking their time, running off the clock, but most importantly, getting Easton some quality reps.
Well, coming up, the 4th quarter brought to you by PetroServe USA, home of the 4 for $4 pizza special. Be sure and stop into one of 24 local PetroServe USA stores and pick up your 4 for $4 today. Back in a moment. The concern about Carson Wentz was not a concern, as North Dakota State, as we look at the Bobcat game recap, has really taken control of things offensively. 526 yards total. And look at the time of possession, Chris. Almost 2-1.
Kind of what I think we expected this game, but one of the things that you and I were talking during the break there, Brian, is Josh Burton, their stud safety. 38 rushes today by the NDSU Bison. He does not have 1 tackle the entire game.
They've really taken him out of the equation. It's done. Lunges ahead for maybe 2 yards. Will bring up 3rd and close to 4th. Mitch Delane came in. Delane has been really more active today than Burton has in the running game. Slayton's interesting too. He went on a mission to Canada the last couple of years. He's already married, just a sophomore. And he's got a lot of time. Again, Burton will be back, only a junior. Johnson and Devontae Johnson's a senior. Taron Johnson is only a sophomore. So a majority of the secondary will be back next season for Weber. Stick, quarterback run. Darts inside, then outside. A nice job defensively by Trayvon Johnson. He got in the backfield. Again. Penetration and really turned Stick back inside. That looked like it had the makings of a big play, and Johnson really turned him back. So a field goal attempt coming up here. After no gain, maybe a loss of one. And again, it'll be Cam Peterson. Connected on his first attempt from 27 yards. This one will be from 37. Plenty of leg. Wow. Wow, it would have been good from about 60 as he booms that one through.
Great kick.
So Cam Peterson 2 for 2 as a true freshman here at the Fargo Dome, and the Bison lead at 34-7. Back with more fourth quarter action. 13:58 to go on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. North Dakota State scoring drive. 13 plays, 57 yards in 6.5 minutes. They get a field goal from Cam Peterson. And not a lot of scoring here for either team in the second half. Bison just 2 field goals, and Weber State has not, I don't think, even crossed midfield yet here in the second half. This one will be taken out by Wilkes. And Wilkes has some room to run. And how about the shake and bake there from Wilkes, who's now into the clear. Wilkes inside Bison territory down the sidelines. He keeps his feet. Eric Wilkes takes it 100 yards for a Weber State touchdown.
He found another gear in that one, Brian. I thought for sure someone was going to catch him. He just kept on going, found that 6th gear, and took it to the house. 100+ yard kickoff return. Special teams coach is pulling his hair out right now for NDSU.
LeCompte had a chance to slow him down, but Wilkes, and it looked like Dempsey had an angle on him there, and Wilkes just pulled away.
Ballet training pays off,
I'll tell you
my
what,
friend.
kids, you want to be a good football player, take some ballet when you're younger, apparently. Goodness. The way he tiptoed the sidelines.
Yes.
All we didn't see was a pirouette. It's the only thing we missed. 13:44 to go here in the fourth quarter, and Weber State has pulled back within 20 off a special teams touchdown. Back in a moment. Josh Kalamakia, a chance to try to kick off for the first time in a while for Weber State. Beth Houle on the sidelines for us today as a PetroServe USA sideline report. Beth.
Hey guys, Coach Kleiman getting frustrated with the defense at this point, even grabbing the whiteboard and talking to the secondary about the fact that they need to improve on their communication all around. Coach Kleiman expecting a lot more from his defense. You of course heard it at halftime, and he's expecting more through the fourth quarter here.
All right, thank you very much, Beth. Our PetroServe USA Bison sideline report. Dimitri Williams, his first return, taking it about the 10, gets it up to the 24. That's when the Bison offense will have it with 13:37 to go. We heard Coach Kleiman even say at halftime in his chat with Beth that, you know, big plays just can't happen. They just can't. Yeah, we only give up 7, and we've only given up 7 defensively if you take away the special teams touchdown, but we can't give that play up because those are the plays that once you get into conference play can really hurt you. As Carson Wentz is back on the field.
Kind of surprised by that. I thought Stick would stick around.
Well, maybe the touchdown has changed things here for one more possession, you know, and all of a sudden Stick mishandles a snap or something, and Weber State gets another score, and all of a sudden you got a football game in there. Felipe Satake in on another stop. Here's what Carson's done today so far, 17 of 26 for 268 and 3 touchdowns. Throw in the fact he's got some carries today, 5 for 46 in a score. He's also had a nice day, would normally be enough to probably be the NODAG Mutual Insurance Player of the Game, but I think Chase Morlock has that baby gift wrapped already. Wentz fires in the flat, caught on the slant, right at the first down marker.
Much better timing right there between him and I believe that was Zach Vroff, if I'm not mistaken, but that was right on the money.
That was actually the first catch of the season for Nate Moody, who missed all of last season, a Dickinson, North Dakota native. Moody had a knee problem, redshirted last year, back now as a senior, and making his first catch in almost 2 years. Good to see Nate back in.
Impressive timing right there for a first catch in 2 years. Great job by Carson and Moody.
People forget that Moody, as a true freshman, was actually forced into starting the national championship game in Frisco. The first one they won, they were so depleted in wide receivers that Moody was the guy they put in there. Wentz back to work, surveys, has time, and will just throw this one away.
I love to see that from Carson Wentz. Last year, even against Montana, that's a play where I think he hangs onto the football a little bit, tries to make it happen because he's a competitor, he's a great athlete, but he said, you know what, I'm going to get rid of the rock, not risk my health. That is a great sign of maturity from Carson Wentz.
2nd and 10 coming up. Clock stops. 12:16 left to go here in the football game. Majority of the crowd is still in their seats enjoying it. The students have vacated, the majority of them. Williams, the motion man. Wentz swallowed up by a trio of Weber State defenders. Lillenquist in on another stop. Carlson as well has been very active from his defensive end position.
That's what, about 4 or 5 times just in the third quarter that they saw that play, and I think they're starting to sniff it out, meaning Weber State, but pretty soon I'd like to see him hand it off there to the fly sweep guy and let him run around the corner and run up the sideline.
So a 3rd and 11 coming up now for North Dakota State. 4 on the play clock. Wentz gets it off, has time. Looking. Now he's going to scramble. And he's going to take off and is bumped out of bounds by Lillenquist. No game for Carson Wentz, and the Bison will have to punt.
And I just said it a few minutes ago, but that's the exact kind of play you'd like to see Carson Wentz just throw it away. You get outside the tackle box. You're obviously not going to take the intentional grounding, but a play like that, it may look a little late, but don't even risk it at this point for Carson Wentz. He was still in bounds there, so that should not be an illegal hit. It was a good no call, but a Carson Wentz from a maturity standpoint, just get rid of the rock, come back for another down.
High snap. LeCompte handles it on a low liner that bounces at the 26. It kind of takes a sideways hop, and Jalen Allison will let it roll and finally down to the 21. 34-14 the score on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. We'll have more from the Fargo Dome coming up. Back at the Fargo Dome, there was a penalty on Weber State for a hold, so they will be backed up now all the way to their own 11-yard line. 10-yard penalty. Jadrian Clark will give it up inside to Garrett. Brad Ambrosius right at the line of scrimmage. No gain for Garrett there as he's taken down. Bison will try to pin Weber State deep here and then hopefully get good field position for the offense as we tick down towards 10 minutes to go. Clark so far today just 8 of 20 for 119 yards. Fires there to Livingston, who's been pretty quiet for the last couple of quarters. Hauls it in. Short gain, 4 yards. Will bring up 3rd and 6.
Nice catch there by Livingston. Good coverage by C.J. Smith. Just couldn't force the incompletion.
Clark. Oh, drilled by DeLuca. DeLuca came free and Clark had no chance.
I didn't think he saw DeLuca coming. Watch this. He just looks surprised. There's times in this offense, Brian, where I look and I go, well, I didn't even see what they were even trying to do right there. Could you tell?
You know, unless there was some sort of screen they were trying to set up, but it didn't look like it was there. And I think Clark just thought better of it and said, you know what, I'll eat it. Don't want to turn it over down here if we can help it. So Kalamakia now will punt from his own end zone. Kind of a wobbler. Perkins at the 40. Going to try to cut back across the grain. Stays on his feet. Got a big block on the inside, and there goes Perkins. Nice open field tackle at the 30-yard line. And it was an offensive lineman that made the tackle in space, Calvin Stein. So give the big man credit for hanging in there, or Perkins might have been going the distance. 9:21 to go. Bison, short field, leading by 20. Special teams can certainly make a difference in a football game. And guys that don't necessarily get on the field a ton want to get out there and make a play when they can. And I think that was Dan Marlette, number 48, a redshirt freshman from Sioux Falls that just laid the wood on Lillenquist as he was trying to track to make the play. Houston Stick back in the game, will keep. No, he will give it off to Dimitri Williams, and there's the speed of the true freshman inside the 15 down to the 12.
And there it was. They finally handed off the rock on that jet sweep, and he obviously ran up the sidelines for, what, 15, 20 yards. So great call right there.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Williams had room to roam out there. See why the Bison coaches really like what he brings to the table. An electric kind of player.
And they've been setting it up all game. Again, the third quarter, they must have ran where the quarterback kept it 4 or 5 times. Faked it to a guy like Williams running around near the end, and that time they gave it to him for a long gain.
Here's Ndowski in motion. Stick will fake. Excuse me, that's Wentz. Now he'll dump it off to Urzendowski, and he falls ahead to the 7-yard line. Pick up close to 7. Once Dunn will check back in. The Bison here now inside the Superior Inc. red zone once again. As you take a look at the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, the Bison pretty good in the red zone even this season. Been money so far. Carson Wentz will take the snap and give it to Dunn. Follows the block from Connor Wentz, Carson's cousin, and falls ahead to about the 6. Carlson's had a nice game for Weber State today.
He really has.
He's been all over the field.
Him and Lillenquist and Trevon Johnson as well. All those guys have been playing really, really well. Obviously, they've had plenty of opportunities with all the offensive plays the Bison have had, but nice run there. Leaves you with 3rd and short here on about the 7-yard line. Still get a chance for a first down. Well, obviously, we'd love with 7:30 left in the game here to take it to the house right now and put up 6 more.
There's Ndowski in motion again. Handoff goes outside. Dunn, can he get the corner? Showing off that speed. Could not stay in bounds, but I think he has enough for a first down. It's going to be very close. And I believe he's got enough. All he needed the 3, and I think that's where he was marked out.
There is Mitch Tulane again, the strong safety for Weber State, making a really nice play. We all know that Dunn's got some wheels, and to see a strong safety like that come up and force him out of bounds, well done by Mitch Tulane. It looks like Lillenquist dragged himself off the field. Not sure what's going on there. We'll obviously find out what's happening with Carson Lillenquist.
North Dakota State has run 74 plays. Weber State has run 39. Bison are just wearing out this Weber State defense. They've been on the field a long time ago. Once again, this time to King Frazier, untouched. 3 yards for the touchdown.
great job by the big boys up front again. And Brian, we were talking about this all game. And yes, I'm sure the Weber State down guys right now, they're tired. You just mentioned the number of plays, and great confidence builder for the big boys up front.
So Frazier punches it in. His first touchdown of the day. 63 yards on the ground for King Frazier as he rumbles in from 3 yards out, and the Bison lead it 41-14. 6.5 to go from here in Fargo. Scoring drive, 5 plays, 30 yards. King Frazier in from 3 yards out in just under 3 minutes, and the Bison have once again extended the lead. Up 41-14. LeCompte booms it away. Be a touchback here on this Peterson Farm Seed kickoff by Taron Johnson. And they're taking a look at Lillenquist. Looked like he got rolled up on a little bit. That's a guy they're going to need.
He's had an outstanding game. You can see him over there on the sideline earlier, just dragging himself over to the trainer's bench. Hopefully he's going to be okay and be back in the game.
Weber State has their home opener against Sacramento State, and that's a big game for Weber. They got to try to get off to a strong start in the Big Sky, and certainly Sacramento State is a winnable game for them. And getting back home after 2 tough road games, starting off at Oregon State and NDSU, is not easy.
They had such a tough year last year. They were 2-10, I believe, but they didn't win a game until the 7th, 8th game of the season.
Clark across the middle, put it right on the money. First time, I believe, the tight end Cody Ayolfson was targeted today, and he could not come up with it. 2nd down. Matt Plank in the game at middle linebacker.
That was great coverage by Plank. I mean, he was all over that guy.
Plank, one of those guys that right now is backing up Nick DeLuca, but is getting more playing time on special teams, and certainly hoping that should someone go down, he can step in and will not see a drop-off. Clark again. This one is intercepted. Andrew Smith.
Being in the right place at the right time. Great interception by Smith. I'm not exactly sure who tipped that, but it was a tip ball. Smith's right there and gets the pick.
First career interception for Andrew Smith, the junior out of Sioux Falls.
He's going to Livingston, and again, Livingston was the one that tipped it right into Smith's arms.
And I think with the linebacker underneath, Chris, he had to get a little more air on that to Livingston to get it over him, and just out of his reach.
And that linebacker again was Matt Plank, playing very well, being in the right position.
So the Bison will take over in Weber State territory at the 40. Easton Stick back into the ball game, will hand it off. Not a whole lot of room to roam that time for Bruce Anderson. Darts ahead 3 yards up to the 37. And Burton making the tackle, pushing him out of bounds.
6 minutes left, Brian. Great chance, obviously, to give your backup some quality reps here. We'd like to see Polasek treated as if, hey, this is a close game. Let's give these guys some real game time speed and see how they respond.
Colin Connor getting a chance to play a little bit. Christian Triplett's been on the game. We've seen Volson. So a lot of these young offensive linemen getting their feet wet today. Power goes to Dunn. Cuts outside to the 35. Will bring up 3rd and 5. And LeGrand Toya in on another tackle. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. There's Triplett number 77. He was the one that kind of pulled on that. Dunn working off him. See 71 in the game as well. That's Luke Bacon, another redshirt freshman from Granville, North Dakota. Played his high school ball at TGU. Some of these small town North Dakota kids.
They're players. They got great work ethic.
Tough kids. Handoff goes inside, and I think Dunn is going to be about 2 yards short of the 1st down. So that means it's decision time here for North Dakota State. Maybe they'll just elect to keep the offense on the field and just try to go for it.
You know, Brian, you talk about some of these small town guys, but I think they fit so well into the Bison tradition and culture. I think we look at ourselves up here in North Dakota as being hardworking people. These guys are coming off farms. They're willing to work hard, put in the extra time, the extra effort. It's obviously paid great dividends for the Bison.
Play clock down to 10, and I just wonder if the Bison will just run it down and call a timeout here. Chris Kleiman heading towards the official. Chris will call a timeout with 4:22 to go. Bison a 4th and 2. North Dakota State on the verge of their first victory, just 4:22 away, and then the big rivalry game with North Dakota coming up. Today's game brought to you in high definition by Speak Volumes, reminding you that one drink isn't always one drink.
Thing that's most impressed you today, Brian Shawn, is what?
Offensive line. I think the offensive line coming in without Zach Johnson, had some guys playing and wanted to prove that they belong on the field. And we've seen a lot of different guys. Again, Colin Connor's out there, Volson, we've seen Luke Bacon, Zach Zemer made his first start today.
And they've all stepped up, which has been so impressive. Because I really thought Josh Burton was going to be a factor in this game. He has not done anything to change the tide of this game whatsoever.
And the Bison have churned up 293 yards on the ground. 574 total. Stick behind center. Option. We'll give it out to Dunn. He's got all sorts of room. And here comes a flag in late, so we'll see if this stands. But Lance Dunn taken out of bounds at the 4-yard line by Burton. But again, a flag.
I hope this play stands because I love the play call. The old option.
Number 71, 10-yard penalty.
And that's going to go on the redshirt freshman Luke Bacon. Called for holding, wiping out what would have been a 30-yard run.
For a second there, I didn't know if that was Easton Stick or Jeff Bentrim. I mean, it was just great to see the old option play come back to the Bison.
Kind of see Bacon get hooked his guy a little bit, and that's what the official call is. Burton knocked him out of bounds. So the Bison, instead of punting, or instead of going for it, will punt.
So did you imagine it was going to be 41-14? I knew that the Bison were going to win, but I didn't think it was going to be with this domination.
You know, Weber State had shown that they're going to be a competitive football team. I think they will all season. But coming in here, North Dakota State had 2 weeks to stew on a loss. Playing in this building, North Dakota State is riding a 23-game winning streak at home coming in. I mean, that's a tall order after playing at a Pac-12 opponent just a week ago. But I think Weber, as they continue to play, will get better, especially on offense. They just need to play a little bit more. Again, I think Jay Hill, they're young in a lot of spots. And those are teams that seem to get better as the year goes on. But we'll see if they can turn it around against Sacramento State coming up. And NDSU, of course, has the big matchup with North Dakota, which you can see here in high definition. So Ben LeCompte on to boot this one away. Weaver came after that one a little bit. LeCompte hung it up and bounced into the end zone. The Bison had a chance to down it deep. Said it'll be a touchback, and Weber State will have it at the 20-yard line.
So any early thoughts on next Saturday's game?
Well, I think North Dakota has the attention of a lot of people based on what they did to Craig Bowles' team. As we take a look at the new seed fan cam, students hanging around. Going to celebrate this victory. That's one of the redshirt offensive linemen that actually just signed with NDSU. But North Dakota coming in here after beating Wyoming and soundly beating Wyoming. Holding Wyoming to just 29 yards rushing in that contest out in Laramie. UND will take on Drake today at 5 o'clock in their home opener. Clark on the, that's Chad Leckington into the game. His first snap, 6'2" sophomore from Shelley, Idaho. He did play in 9 games last season. So he has some experience as Jadrian Clark's day is apparently over. Leckington again will take off with it. And last year when Leckington played, he didn't attempt to pass. Everything he did when he was in the game was run the football. So that's why we're seeing what we see here.
You know, Weber State last year when we played them, they had Billy Green, a BYU transfer in the game. I thought he played very, very well. I mean, they ended up going to obviously Jadrian Clark later on in the season. He ended up 2-2, and now you give Lexington a chance to get some reps as well. So I'm not sure exactly where Billy Green's at in the depth chart, but apparently Clark is showing them something that Billy Green wasn't.
A big collision there in the middle of the field. Lexington met in the hole there by Matt Plank.
Great sign to see Plank sniffing out the football the way he is.
So 4th down coming up here for Weber State. I think they'll keep the offense on the field. Fourth and 3, under 2 minutes to go. Lexington, play action, will throw it. Has a receiver, and he is inbounds, I believe. That would be the first catch by Daryl Denby. There is a flag back at the 31. And I believe it's going to be a defensive hold on NDSU, so regardless, it'll be a first down.
Brian, as we wait for this call, some other news here coming out of the Missouri Valley Conference. University of Northern Iowa, 38.
Holding.
Eastern
Defense,
Washington,
number 48. That penalty is declined. Result of play.
Final.
First down.
Big win there for University of Northern Iowa.
And they really needed that win at home, Chris, because the road only gets tougher for UNI. They go on the road to Cal Poly. That's a tough trip. 7 o'clock game on the West Coast. So you get back at like 5 in the morning, and then you got Illinois State the following week before Northern Iowa comes here for homecoming. So it's a brutal stretch for the Panthers to start off the season. Garrett dragged down. Nice job defensively by Greg Menard. No, excuse me, that was 94. Stanley Jones, a redshirt freshman out of Bismarck High School.
Nice play here. Comes off the block. Grabs the freshman Trayshawn Garrett, takes him down.
So Stanley Jones makes his first tackle of the season. And it's a tackle for loss of 4. Lexington in the flat, dumps it off. Caught by Rafael Langanu.
I think Lexington's 2 for 2. Continue to throw the rock, huh?
Now under a minute to go as North Dakota State will go on to win their first game of the season. Lexington flushed, rolls, and he's going to throw it away. Pressure applied there by Austin Farnloff, another backup defensive tackle. Caleb Butler, another redshirt freshman out of Coon Rapids, is going to see his first action today. Empty formation again, 5 receivers. Lexington dumps it off, and again it's caught. This time by Livingston, short of a first down. And that was on 4th down, so it's a stop.
41 seconds to go in the game. Come in. Maybe
Bison will
kneel
take a
down
knee
here.
and call it good.
Dominating performance.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, in the first half, North Dakota State had 407 total yards on offense. They end up with 574, 293 of those on the ground. Meanwhile, Weber State only has about 80 yards of total offense here in the second half. They just could not get anything going on that side of the football.
Just the entire game, there's just no rhythm in their offense.
NDSU 79 plays that they've ran today. This will be the 80th. You run inside. And Darius Anderson got his first carry. Flags come flying in.
Looks like it might be a personal foul. I can't see the number, but
Cole Davis also in a quarterback took his first snap of the day today. officials have to say here about what the flag is all about.
After the play, personal foul, number 85 on the offense. 15-yard penalty, second down.
And that goes on Nate Jensen, redshirt freshman out of Wapaka, Wisconsin. Played at the same high school as Brock Jensen.
He might be running some laps for that one come tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah, especially with 40 seconds left in the game. And again, these guys that don't get a lot of reps want to be aggressive and show what they can do when they get the opportunity, but that's...
You got to play disciplined football. That's what's won championships here at NDSU.
Run to the outside as Anderson almost keeps his feet. Gains 9 yards up to the 44, and that's the senior from Hawaii, transferred from Valley City State. And that'll be the final play of the football game as both teams will meet at midfield and shake hands.
Great game for NDSU. Again, want to remind you, next Saturday you can see it here on KVOI and the NBC North Dakota Sports Network. UND versus NDSU.
Chris Kleiman celebrating his first win as a head coach this season. And the Bison 41-14 victors. And NDSU will have a week off the last Saturday of September before heading to Brookings, South Dakota to take on South Dakota State in the Missouri Valley opener. So that'll all be an interesting couple of weeks here with UND, and then 2 weeks later your other big rival from South Dakota. Beth Houle is standing by and has head coach Chris Kleiman.
Hey guys, that's right, Coach. Defense gave up only 50 points. I know you weren't pleased at half. Did they do better second half for you?
Yeah, I thought we did a great job. You know, we kept the ball in front of us. We really ran to the football well, and we'll learn. We got a lot of tape to learn from, that's for sure.
Chase Morlock, an outstanding performance today. Talk about him and how he's coming to his own in the running game.
Well, he's a great receiver. He's a great running back, and we're happy to have him on his team. He and Carson were clicking today.
Well, thanks for it. Well, guys, first win here for Coach Kleiman this season, an exciting one. We'll have plenty more coming up later at Valley News Live and NBC statewide.
All right, thank you very much, Beth. 41-14 is the final from the Fargo Dome at Gate City Bank Field. Chris and I will wrap things up in just a couple of minutes with our NODAG Mutual Insurance Player of the Game and our American Family Insurance Agents Hit of the Game. Stay tuned. Coming up after this. 14 is the final. Our NODAG Mutual Insurance Player of the Game is Chase Morlock. And boy, did this guy get it done today. 212 all-purpose yards, 76 on the ground, 136 through the air receiving to go along with 2 touchdowns. Chris, he was awesome today.
It was great to watch him perform the way he did, catching the ball out of the backfield and just running some people over as well. And again, I go back to that screenplay, big touchdown for him. That was a big turning point for me in this game for him.
So Chase Morlock, our NODAG Mutual Insurance Player of the Game, and he certainly deserved that honor. And the one guy with Chase Morlock, the one thing that's unique about him is he plays so many different spots on the field. They had him lined up at tight end, fullback, H-back, tailback. They split him out as a wide receiver sometimes. Tough weapon to cover if you're a defense.
Well, when you see him perform the way like he did today, you got to wonder what's the UND defensive coordinator going to be thinking this week, going, how do we stop this guy? Because he was all over the field today and performed very, very well.
And the Bison a very balanced effort as well, as 8 different guys carried the football today for North Dakota State. We take a look at our hit of the game, brought to you by the American Family Insurance Agents here in North Dakota. And I tell you what, the hit that really got us going was the one on Jadrian Clark early by Brad Ambrosius. Take a look right there as he was slammed into the turf, and that really seemed to set the tone. If you slow it down, our American Family Insurance hit of the game. Clark was hassled a little bit there in the first half.
Those are one of those hits, Brian, as a quarterback. You start to wonder, like, okay, wait, where are my guys? What am I doing here in the second half? Because I think I might get rid of it a little bit sooner on the next pass play. So it was great to see him set the tone that way.
When you look at our final stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers, NDSU really dominated almost everything. They ran 35 more plays. They had a heavy advantage in time of possession, and in total yardage, when you look, 586 to 205. They really got it done today.
And over 400 yards in the first half. That was an outstanding performance to show, hey, we are going to come in here and dominate what's happening. And as you and I talked about the game, I kept waiting for the Weber State offense to catch a rhythm, to show some flashes. Yes, they had the one nice pass with Livingston, but other than that, there was just no rhythm to be had by Weber State today in offense.
NDSU, 40 minutes in time of possession, 40:04 unbelievable when you look at that. Leading your defense on the field that long, not good if you're Weber State. They'll try to rebound next week against Sacramento State at home. We'll take another quick timeout. We'll be back to wrap things up from the Fargo Dome. You're watching Bison football at NBC, North Dakota Sports. Fargo Dome, Brian Shawn and Chris Berg as NDSU takes care of business today. 41-14 is the final, and now you look ahead to the matchup that a lot of people have wanted for quite a while, and that is taking on in-state rival North Dakota. 75 miles from the north will make the bus trip down to take on NDSU for the first time as Division I opponents. And of course, I think there's a lot of anticipation just to see how this game will go, mainly because the two teams just haven't played in so long. It's been almost 15 years.
Well, not only that, but you see the performance against Wyoming and Santiago just running up and down the field. It's going to be great to see what obviously the NDSU defense is going to do to try to shore that up. And again, today, great performance by NDSU's offensive linemen. I'm excited to see how they step up next week.
Final thoughts for NDSU defensively. That's an area, giving up 38 points has not been their MO. They really answered the bell, I thought, today. Just one defensive touchdown given up.
Yeah, and I think, the DBs really stepped up. Again, you go back to C.J. Smith finally being back in the lineup. It's pretty obvious that he's an anchor for those defensive backs, for the secondary. Really did a great job showing up and helping out the other guys from, not just performance, but also a leadership standpoint as well.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the telecast of Bison football here on NBC North Dakota Sports. We'll say so long from here in Fargo. For Chris Berg and Beth Rule, our entire NBC North Dakota Sports crew, I'm Brian Shawn saying farewell from the Fargo Dome. We'll see you next Saturday when North Dakota comes to town. That'll be fun. See you next week, everybody.